live in the studio. Once again, Fear Unleashed podcast, noticeably absent. Our good friend and cohort,
right here.
Rich Burmaster.
I got him right here.
He's here in spirit, that monkey spirit. Be sure to pour out some liquor for him.
The bald head.
Yeah, hopefully we get him back in the studio soon, right?
He's in Japan.
In Japan? Rub and tug tour or what?
He's in Japan on a church mission. You should be ashamed of yourself saying that stuff about him.
Man.
Rubbing tugs on
me and Jesus are pretty tight, man. I think he'll forgive me for that one. I hope he will anyway.
Look at this bottle's already half.
Safe travels to our guy, Rich Burmaster. We're getting that monkey spirit in us on his behalf.
Yes, sir.
You guys
Howlerhead whiskey.
fabulous.
Howlerhead whiskey in the building as
mic's
well,
back.
as always.
We're good. So how's your weekend?
Man, not bad.
Anything
Not bad
interesting?
at all. Man, not terribly interesting, man. Our boy Kevin Holland unfortunately messed up his hand in a hell of a main event, man, UFC Orlando. I was looking forward to that one like I know you were too.
Yep.
Kevin Holland, he's a friend of Fury FC. I was really looking forward to that. Unfortunately, he busted his hand up in, I think, the second round.
First round.
Was it the first?
I saw something posted that said first round.
Yeah, he was still throwing it in the second at least, man. But yeah, the later it went on, he wasn't throwing that right hand as much. He knew something was going on, unfortunately. But I look forward to the comeback for him. Shout out to
Me and my son
Wonder
watched
Boy.
those fights, and he kept on asking me, "What do you think, Dad? Who do you think's gonna take it?" I personally thought Kevin was going to get him out of there in like 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I forget how tough Wonder Boy is. I guess
He, like he says, he hits like a fucking truck, man. Those heaters were coming in hot. Those overhand rights, man. If even one of those would have landed, man.
I think when Wonder Boy fought Pettis, that's when I saw like a downturn because I think Pettis knocked him out with like a Superman punch or something.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, if Pettis could do that, then you forget that styles make fights. And,
Yeah, man, for sure.
Diego, what you doing, Diego? I was about to ask you a question and you ran away.
We need your insight. We need your expert insight for this fight, man.
What were you doing?
Working.
He's out
defending the
writing
city from
tickets.
the perils of evil.
Busting Jack Shacks.
There you go. He was having his own rub and tug tour in Houston.
He was out. He was out. He was out taking bribes.
No comment.
No comment. No thanks. No thanks.
He was out taking bribes.
I'm going to refer that to my attorney, please.
No thanks. Shout out Rich Burmaster.
Yeah, but so the Kevin Holland fight, man, he broke his hand, I think, in the first round. Then Bob stopped it in the 5th. Coming out of the 5th round.
Yeah.
Bob
After the
said
4th.
Enough was enough, man.
Yeah.
I mean, which is smart. Obviously, I saw a little post afterwards, and it said that it was broken in 2 places, 2 of the bones.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So he's having surgery for sure. No telling how long he's going to be out.
He's gonna be out for a little bit.
I start
man.
thinking, like, I understand that him and Wonder Boy had like some sort of agreement that they were going to keep the fight standing.
They weren't going to
takedowns.
shoot. I heard him talking about that, and then there were a couple of times where Holland kind of was grabbing on for dear life, but then okay, hey, let's stand back up. They'd be like,
And
they
like
would
the
agree to
first-
stand back up.
First or second round, Wonder Boy ended up on his back, and Holland fell on top of him.
Yep.
And he just got up and like, get up.
I know, get your ass up. We're
And
gonna do
I
it like
saw Bisping was criticizing that after the fight. He's like, look, man, are you here to put on a show and lose, or do you want to put on a show and win? We know you're entertaining already, but the longevity of your career,
but
you're trying to win fights.
Exactly, for sure. But a mad respect for coming to that agreement and trying to keep it on their feet, put on a banger for the fans, man. I mean, that's Kevin. If you know anything about Kevin Holland, that's what he wants to do is put on a show for the fans,
sure.
man. And
For sure.
they don't want to watch a struggle snuggle on the ground. So
Yeah, no doubt. So we had Kevin, and then we had my boy Matt Snell.
yeah.
A little fucking bothered by that, man.
Yeah.
He got beaten. Hopefully he's all right. I'm sure
Shit
he's
happens,
good.
yeah. Hopefully he bounces back quick, man. Did you see that submission on Hermanson? The leads they
I
put
didn't
on
get
him?
to watch that. You were saying
Oh man,
that.
yeah. We're gonna have to find video of that. Maybe Diego can splice it in, but that would force him to do some editing.
Hey, Diego don't edit.
Technically, I do edit.
Can you? Okay, I know
I
you
did
do.
a-
I have to break
Yeah,
your
I
balls
know,
a
I
little
know.
bit, man. We got to keep you involved, or else you comfortable over there on the sidelines. But yeah, I mean,
Well,
I
you
had
guys
him
are so interesting,
Hermanson ended up
so-
in like a reverse figure 4 calf slicer rear naked choke situation. I mean, it was.
So it was finished by the
pretty-
calf or the choke?
Yeah, I think it was the calf.
Or both?
I think it was the calf. It didn't. I don't think he got him on the rear naked. I have to go back and watch, but I think it was the calf.
So that type of jiu-jitsu in fights is exciting. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the kind of shit that is exciting. Like, not the pulling guard, sitting back, come into my guard type shit.
guillotine.
Yeah, well,
No, don't get me wrong. Everybody loves a good guillotine finish, but
So that was a good card all in all. I mean, obviously, my Texas boys are who I was interested in the most.
yeah, Yeah.
It was good. We
have to run it back sometime.
We got our own.
Tuivasa. Did you see Tuivasa?
Oh yes.
They called it a knockout, but I mean, I disagree. You know, TKO.
That dude's on a tear. The guy that knocked him out.
Oh yeah, the Russian dude. He's a
Derek,
beast, man. Man, I don't if he fought Derek, I missed it. But dude, he's like fucking Ivan Drago, man. It's like who's going to stop this guy?
He's on a tear. Speaking of heavyweights, Jones is coming back. John Jones.
Yeah, what is that going to happen, man? I mean, we keep hearing that.
I saw March.
Yeah. I'm interested to see that.
That's a card to go watch live.
Yeah, put the Russian in there with Bones Jones.
He's fighting Francis.
Yeah. So title shot right out of the gate.
Title shot versus Francis.
Yeah, I guess that'll sell some tickets for sure.
We got Fury 72 coming up.
Fury 72 coming up the 18th, December the 18th. Man, we got a banger of a card. I know we say that all the time, but I mean, you really do. You put you put all the heavy hitters, all the ticket sellers. You put them like all on this card to close out the year, man. I know you wouldn't do it any other way than to put your biggest draws and your best fighters on the card. I know amateur title fight. You got Josh Van. I mean, that's not amateur.
Give me that Haller back.
Beat that, Diego. We've got, for the 125 title, we got Josh Van and Cleveland McLean in the main event, man. I'm looking forward to that one out of all of these, man, just because, I mean, that's going to be a banger. You talk about, guys not wanting to shoot, like we're talking about, Kevin Holland and Wonder Boy earlier, man. I don't look for many takedowns in that main event for the 125 title.
If my prediction is... if somebody's going to shoot, it would be Cleveland first.
So?
Only going off of what I saw in the Jacob Silva fight.
Yeah.
Because him and Jacob were standing up. Cleveland ended up winning by knockout, but he did shoot a few times. Now, fast forward to Edinburgh when he fought Lazoya. And Lazoya was the favorite to win, and Lazoya tried to wrestle fuck the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And Cleveland wasn't having it. He was out of there and wanted to strike. So it just depends on what type of... we might see Van shoot first.
I don't look for that, but you're right. It could happen.
I feel like Van's the type of guy, though, if he does shoot first, it's not to lay on you.
He's not going to try to keep it there. Exactly. He's going to be looking for some kind of a calf slice or something, man. He's not going to pull you into his guard and try to figure out what's next. He's going to have a plan.
He pulled off that calf slicer in
Denver. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so he's got some tricks, man.
Yeah, for sure, man.
We got Arian Young and Mercado in the co-main event. Do you recall Arian? 5-1. He's from Denver. He trains at Factory X. He was on that same card that Van was on. He had a first round TKO win. Then he fought for us in Dallas and had a first round armbar.
Okay.
So he's fighting Mercado.
You got him in the co-main against Chicho Mercado.
Yeah, so this is interesting because both these guys came up on a regional circuit in Oklahoma. And they were both featherweights.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Man, there's nothing there.
There was their bullshit fights that they had.
I kid. They got some talent up in Oklahoma.
But they had, they came up in the same promotion, and they never fought each other, and AY was the champ. And Mercado claims he was always hunting for that belt and that they would never take it. So now that they're pros, you got a 6-1 Mercado versus AY at 5-1. Should be interesting.
It'll be a banger, man.
Should be interesting.
And then Darren Whitney, D-Day, taking on Colton England.
Colton's back.
In the lightweight division.
I love Colton, but he's got this shitty trainer.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. he's We'll
have to talk to that trainer soon.
We'll have to bring him on sometime soon, man.
Sometime soon.
Yeah.
Welcome to our live audience.
Yeah.
Sold out crowd today here.
But I'm excited to see Colton come back.
I am too.
Fresh off of
he's
that
an exciting,
series and then
exciting fighter to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Colton always brings it, but he's got a tough fight. Darren just took his first loss against Markel. He had a lot of momentum.
Yeah, so he's 5-1 now, right?
He's 5-1.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 5-1. He's tall. He's long. So it's going to be interesting to see the game plan that Colton comes with, and what he does. If I'm Colton, I'm fucking putting this dude on his ass real quick. Passing his guard.
Try to get it down to the ground as quick as you can.
Yeah. Finish the fight as fast as possible.
You don't want to stand and trade with D-Day.
We had a last minute, not too last minute, but we had a change. Michael Aswell is now fighting Cameron Graves. He was set for Jason Mullen.
Yeah, I remember that on
some stuff
on the poster.
Yeah, some stuff changed that out, and Mullins had to step out, but Graves immediately jumped in. So this is going to be a true test for Michael Aswell.
All right.
At 5-0, we have Cameron coming off a win versus, remember he TKO'd Masio in San Antonio.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting. Cameron has a lot of experience. Aswell hasn't fought a guy as agile as Graves, as athletic, somebody that if you take him down,
well-rounded. Yeah, jiu-jitsu black belt,
or he's going to get his ass up. Cameron's not easy to hold down. I've trained with him quite a bit, so.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see which Cameron Graves shows up.
Right.
That confident Cameron Graves that we all know. Or, I mean, after that Ray Trujillo fight, there for a little while, it looked like he was struggling to find his confidence.
When you look at a guy like Cameron and you look at the losses that he's had, they're against like
top-notch opponents. Yeah, for sure, man.
He lost on the Dana White looking for a fight that we had in Houston.
Down at the Bayou City Event Center?
Yeah, that was a title fight, and Dana ended up taking the winner. And then he lost to Dimitri Ivey, who's on a fucking tear.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not like he's had easy
exactly,
fights,
for sure, man.
Cameron's ready.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one, man. As I look at that lineup, I was like, what happened to Jason Mullen? But yeah, Cameron Graves and Michael Aswell, that's going to be a banger, man.
Got the babyface killer.
Babyface killer. My boy Cam Smotherman taking on Adam Martinez. Man, I look for big things in the next year from Cam Smotherman.
He's so young, man, and active.
He just fought active. He wasn't on the last one, it was the one before, I think, right? A couple events back? Or was it the last one?
He fought 8-14. Adam Martinez ain't a guy that shoots for these takedowns either.
Then this will be a good fight for him because that's not the kind of fight Cam likes to put on.
Cameron's going to take somebody's head off.
That's his MO. You got Brick Hands Britain on here, man.
So these first two, the main card opener, and the second fight, Nick Piccinini and Jacoby Smith. It's interesting how we grabbed these two guys.
Jacoby Smith, that was
OSU wrestlers.
Yeah, man, stellar signing.
Yeah, so both of them are 3-0, both young guys. And it was interesting because I was having dinner with Gus Calderon, and I got a text, and it said, "Hey, this is Daniel Cormier. I want to talk to you about getting some guys on the Fury FC cards." And I was like, man, somebody's fucking with me. Like, this ain't really DC. DC's not going to message me.
So it was Gus forwarding a text from DC to you?
No, it came straight to my phone. It came to my phone. So I showed Gus. I was like, man, you think this is really DC? He's like, somebody's probably fucking with you. Catfishing you. So I was like, yeah, sure, man. Let's talk about it. Let's see who you got. So then a little bit of time went by, and we got the bill, and we left, and I'm driving home. My phone rings, and it says Daniel Cormier. And I answered it.
Well, that's AT&T verified if the name pops up.
I could tell it was DC. He's got a distinct voice. And I ain't going to lie, I'm a fanboy for Daniel Cormier. I mean, the dude's legit. He's fought everybody.
I think if any of us got a call from DC, we'd probably mark out.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, he's like, hey, Eric, man, I want to talk to you about putting a couple guys on Fury FC.
You didn't tell him that's Mr. Garcia to you? Nah. You don't know me like that, man. Call me Eric.
Anyway, I was like, yeah, man, who do you got? So he pitched me Jacoby Smith and Nick Piccinini. And right away, I started looking these guys up. I was like, man, these dudes are high-level OSU wrestlers. They're probably going to be tough to match. And we've been hunting and hunting and hunting. Tommy Britton will fight anybody.
Yeah.
So Brick Hands right away was like, man, I'm in. 170.
Sign me up.
They're actually going to do 175 because Britton's coming down from 185. So they're actually doing 175. But I'm curious to see if Britton's working on his takedown defense, because if he's going to go out there, if he's going to go out there and just try and launch bombs,
he's going to be in for a rude awakening.
Right, and then we got Piccinini at flyweight. Well, I had a very hard time trying to find somebody for him. I finally reached out to Jason House, which, he's got a roster of guys.
Yeah.
And he sent me over to his partner, Jeremy, and he said, man, I got this 4-0 125er. He'll take it. We locked that deal in one day, and it's history. So Freddie's coming
Nick is out of Oklahoma as well?
Well, Nick is out of AKA.
Okay.
So he's in California. They're both Oklahoma wrestlers, and I think Jacoby's coming from Florida.
Gotcha.
So they're on opposite sides. Two OSU guys coming, so should be solid additions to the roster.
I kid about Oklahoma, but man, they've got like a rich tradition of like quality, top-notch wrestling talent up in Oklahoma.
DC, I think, came out of OSU
for like decades, man. Yeah, looking forward to seeing those guys.
Speaking of Oklahoma, we're trying to get locked into Hard Rock Tulsa for March.
Oh, that'd be badass.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Go out there and do a show at the Hard Rock. Tulsa.
Yeah, we haven't been up there since Submission Hunter days, I think.
Diego chewing some tacos.
Eating tacos into the microphone. Thanks, man. Didn't even offer us one, man.
I know.
It was offered. I'm just saying.
we're good.
Not by me. But.
We're
good. We don't eat on
Let's
air.
run through just quick through the undercard. Let's just touch on a couple of these. Austin Green and Mario Moore. Austin Green is a 3-0 heavyweight. Mario Moore coming off a win over Jake Williams. Victor and Dominic Perez. Dominic Perez is coming back.
Yeah, Vic Gonzalez out of Strong Style.
Yeah, getting a win.
Coming off a win recently.
Yeah. Then we got Chemo Lewis, heavyweight.
Chemo.
He's dropping down to 205. Chemo TKO'd Ricardo. That was his debut fight with us.
Oh, okay.
Ricardo
yeah.
Evangelista.
Yeah.
So since he's dropping to 205, he's fighting this guy, Al Savea. So Al's coming from Hawaii. I've heard good things about him. He's 2-0.
Is he one of...
He's a house guy as well.
Okay, yeah.
Armando Zuniga is Bedford's guy. He just won his last amateur fight in Dallas on the Dallas card. Fighting Oliver Jimenez.
Oliver Jimenez. Yeah, man.
When people hear Oliver Jimenez right away, they think elite striker.
Yeah.
So this should be interesting, man. If Armando chooses to stand up and
It's going to be dangerous.
do a Kevin Holland versus Wonder Boy, this is a really fun fight. Then the opener on the pro prelims is Christian Strong and Elijah Smith. Elijah coming from Colorado with Gilbert Smith, and Christian coming from Washington with Chemo, Eddie Grant's guy.
Couple of bantamweights to kick things off on the pro prelim side.
Yeah. Couple amateur.
You see James Ford taking on Felipe Rocha.
That's interesting.
The 205 title.
That's an interesting fight.
Yeah, man. I mean, Felipe, he's a black belt, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, he's got strong ground game, but from what I remember about him, he tries to keep it on the feet too. He likes to stand and bang too.
He will if it comes to that, but I don't know if you want to get cracked by James Ford.
No. So
and I dropped into War the other day because Ford, this is his first fight at 205. He's been fighting at heavyweight. And when I say heavyweight, I think 240 plus.
yeah,
and that's
what I remember about James Ford is he's a big dude. So I mean, to see him fighting at 205 is
I saw him the other day. I was like, dude,
gets my attention.
You look totally different. He's like, yeah, man, I'm
leaned out and ready for this title opportunity, man.
He's in shape and he's ready to go. He's like,
man,
I'm not leaving without that belt.
Nice.
We got Aguilar and Todd Rank. Kyle Todd Rank.
Cutthroat Todd Rank.
Kyle and James teach the wrestling classes over there at War. I expect some good things from both those guys, moving through the pros. Dylan Aguilar's no chump, though. He is coming up a weight class. He's a 135er. He's moving to 45 to fight for this belt. I think he's fought, but the last fight that I clearly remember is when he knocked out David Tran Nguyen. With that bicycle front kick.
Yeah, my boy, the Vietnamese Viper. That was the sickest knockout I think we've seen on any of our Fury cards. He took a long nap that night.
Wynn's actually coming back.
Aguilar.
Jumping on the Sub-100 card next month. So
nice.
Cool. It'd be good to see him back. Yeah, man.
Hey, can I get the juice over there?
Man, yeah, he's going to need a lot more of that if he's going to be doing sound effects. He's going to need some more.
That was horrible.
I don't think that's a monkey.
No,
is that a monkey?
Have you even had coffee yet, Diego?
No, not yet.
Give me a monkey.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Before the show's
listen,
over. Don't put him on the spot. Before the show's over, though, we got to have some better sound effects than that, man.
That was horrible.
It sounded like a monkey hitting the snooze button.
You say, hey, listen, you say give me a monkey, and Diego starts looking for a woman at the massage.
Is that what they call him there, Diego?
They call him the monkey. I know my boy Marcus from Loaded Pistols likes to talk about the monkey.
No comment from Diego.
No comment from Diego. Hey, does your wife listen to the podcast?
No.
Okay. You
I'll bet she listens. She's like, I'm going to see what this motherfucker says.
Oh man. Real quick, some notable names on the undercard.
Yeah,
we got
Ross Thurwalker.
Thurwalker, always exciting. Spencer Sled, coming out of War. I'm interested on this Andrew Villarreal kid. He's a 55er. He's making his debut out of Gracie Baja. Trains with Paris Moran and Aaron Pena.
Okay.
And Paris is really high on him. And he's like, dude, wait till you see my boy. So
that's a solid endorsement.
Yeah, so I'm looking for some big things out of him.
A couple of debuts. He's debuting, taking on Casey Lashley, also making his amateur debut.
Casey Lashley trains with Christian Lopez. Out of that team Ballna. They're over there with Michael Dominguez. Then we got Paul Wilson, who is the little brother of Josh Wilson. Josh just made his pro debut with us. No, it wasn't his pro debut. It was his second pro fight. He's fighting a 4-ounce guy, Sebastian Rodriguez. Sebastian's pretty tough.
He's a 4-ounce guy, so I mean, that goes without saying almost.
He's a 4-ounce guy, but Josh Van stands by him. He's like, man, the kid's tough. He's a tough Ammy, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, man. And,
looking forward to that. How often do you drink, Wayne?
As often as we do these podcasts.
Is that really it?
Yeah, no, that's not really it. Not nearly as much as I used to. You know, maybe once a week, if that.
You think? I was listening to the Joe Rogan, and they do sober October. Should we try it?
Oh man, I'm not down for that. You know how tough that would be to go. No,
1 month.
I could do that. That's not a problem. We want to do that for January or what?
No, next October.
Next
we got a whole
October,
year to
yeah.
prepare.
Oh, you want to do it in October?
Season
Okay.
2.
Yeah.
I think we should start implementing some stuff like that into the sober October.
What about the taste testing idea I told you about? The
Tasting
taser.
what?
Well, to see,
He wants
figure out
to
which one's
put
the
different liquors in
Okay,
and
does
see.
Diego want to taste ass or liquor?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What are we talking about? I mean, we have to check with you, but
What are you talking about,
I
Diego?
mean,
it
like,
depends on where
hey,
you.
figure out which one is the holla head, and then from there.
Diego, like, what is that? That's an Asian. I know an Asian anywhere.
Is that what you're talking about?
No, man, no.
You're trying to disguise.
She's got small hands. That's an Asian all day.
Yeah, so I think we should implement that. What about you ever do the No Shave November?
Kind of like inadvertently, like I didn't shave for most of November. I had a nice little, beard going, but I wasn't really doing it for that purpose.
What about you?
Just
Can
kind
you
of
grow a
trimmed it
beard?
a couple weeks ago, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I can grow a beard. And just, it
No shave
doesn't look
November.
good. Don't look good.
You don't like beard?
Nah, I don't. I think it comes back to that
I'm
military
down
lifestyle.
for it. I'm down for it, man.
Just some things to think about, I think.
Yeah.
We'll start doing stuff like that.
I'm down.
You listen to what other podcasts? Do you listen to any podcasts?
Man, I used to listen to, not that you would give a shit about it, the Bruce Pritchard podcast. He was like, he was Vince McMahon's right-hand man.
I was going to say, it had to be wrestling
He's based
related.
out of Houston. Since I was a little kid, I've seen this guy like on TV and doing stuff, and he's like, man, like you name it, like the stuff that we liked as kids, like, the mega powers, Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, like all that stuff. He's like Vince McMahon's right-hand man. He's got all this insight. He's telling you like what they were thinking, how they booked the stuff, how they booked the towns and everything. It's a really cool podcast. I don't listen to it as much these days. He's back in WWE, so he doesn't have as much time to dedicate to it. But that was a good one I listened to there for a few years.
You never listen to Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan's one of my
Man,
favorite podcasts.
I catch Rogan like in clips. For the most part, man, I don't have like a whole lot of time to dedicate to it, and I'm bad about picking back up. So I catch like YouTube clips of Rogan, here and there. But yeah, dude, Rogan, man, I love that dude, man. I've followed him for years before he was, like in the UFC to the degree that he is, and this world famous podcast, man. Back whenever he was doing stand up comedy, man, I was like following that dude.
I need to catch
I went on a blind date with this girl, and she's like, I got these tickets to go see Joe Rogan. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, let's go. And dude, he did a great set down at the Laugh Spot, down off like Westheimer or wherever the fuck it is.
In Houston.
Yeah, here in
It
town.
was so
Yeah, dude, we're like right there, dude. And he's like, yes, I'm the fucking guy
had
from
hair.
Fear Factor. Yeah, he had a little bit of hair left, as pre-balding Joe Rogan. So yeah, I've always had a lot of love and respect for Joe Rogan.
I like the Jocko Willick podcast. It's pretty
What
cool
is that?
too. It's a retired Navy SEAL. Talked about
Okay.
leadership and owning yourself. Making just human improvement.
Well, you're a Marine or Army or Navy? Or
I actually did both Army and Marine Corps. I did both boot camps.
Wow, what a beast.
Diego.
We break your
Just a
balls a lot
knucklehead.
in here, but man, you're a
No,
badass,
no,
dude.
man, no,
Yeah,
man.
see, and he's so
Knucklehead.
modest. Like you would never get the impression, like talking to Diego, that he's this badass motherfucker like he is.
Diego will kill you with his bare hands.
Yeah, man.
Diego
And his sound effects.
Diego will rub into you to death.
He'll kill you with the sound effects too. They're pretty bad.
Diego's one of the nicest guys I've
Yeah,
met,
man, for sure, man.
Thanks,
I was asked
appreciate it.
recently, like, hey, who's kind of the spearheader of this podcast that we do or
Diego.
whatever, man.
No,
And man,
100%.
if any of us should get credit for it, man, it's Diego, man. This is a labor product of his, love of the game that we're even sitting down talking about this shit, man.
100%,
Well,
man. 100%.
I'm all for Fury, man. Fury, changed my life as far as getting into this, mindset.
Yeah.
Combative sports. So it's me giving it back to you guys.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, fun shit, man.
No doubt. We got a guest. in the
I
house
was just
today.
about to say, man. On that note, man. Speaking of badass motherfuckers
Yes,
that
definitely.
we owe a lot to, man. I mean,
Yeah.
our guest this week.
So, like, if you take the baddest motherfucker in the game, and you compare him to the total opposite, it's today's guest.
It's our guest today, the opposite end of the spectrum. Ladies and gentlemen, Lester Batres.
What up, what up?
Senior.
Oh, this is senior.
Yeah.
Mr. Bates,
Senior,
Mr.
yeah.
Bates, the master of the baiters.
The Lester Bader.
This is the real Lester.
Welcome to the show, sir.
The son will be taking that
It's
name
great to
soon.
have you here, man.
The real Lester.
We talk every now and then about like Houston MMA royalty and who are these guys? The Mount Rushmore. Who'd you put on there? And man, this guy's like a Houston
of 'em.
MMA OG. He's right up there, man. Like the
Hey, have you,
Colin Cantrells of the world. He's been working out.
hey, did you stop
been-
working out?
I lifted.
His left arm's
Did you
smaller.
stop working out?
No,
Dang.
he's just working out that one arm. This one over here is not as big as that one.
So one thing about me and Lester that
Yeah, you guys go way back.
Yeah, we go way back in my humor and our humor with each other. We love to fuck with each other, like bust each other's balls. And I'll never forget. I think you told Andrew that.
It was Andrew.
He told Andrew
Craig.
Craig. He told Andrew Craig one time at an old cage combat event. They were sitting in the locker room and he was fucking dead serious. And we're dealing with the state. And he walks into the room and he sees Andrew across in the corner. And he's like, "Hey, what's up, Andrew? Hold on. Dog, did you stop working out?" He's like, "Are you not lifting weights no more?" And Andrew looks down at him. So he's like, "No, I've been working out every day." So I've never forgot that. So now every time I see
shit.
Lester, it's
Lester's
like,
always been breaking balls.
"Lester, you stopped working out, dog. You actually look pretty good, man.
I did, man.
Your hair looks good.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
told me
hey.
you were gonna do that.
New look, you know what I mean?
Fucking great,
I'm
bro.
going back.
Yeah. How you been?
I've been good, brother. Everything good. Just working out, training, getting some people ready. That's it.
You doing 2 a days or 1 a day?
1 to 2 a days.
Yeah.
Right. Just depends on the schedule, but we try to get in like 2 a days.
So you stay pretty consistent.
Yeah, I stay in there, man. I do a shitload of cardio. I'm like the opposite. I'm trying to gain weight. Everybody tries to lose weight. I'm trying to put on weight.
No shit.
Do so much cardio, it's like I can't keep it on.
How many of them tacos you just?
I
put
just
down?
ate 4.
4 tacos.
Yeah.
4
Yeah.
barbacoa
Dude.
tacos.
That was a warm up. I'm still hungry,
I say I can't do stuff like that, man.
bro. I ate 4. I'm still hungry.
He's about to go get him another one.
I'm like on intermittent fasting, man. I'm like,
Are you doing that?
Not eating till like 2 o'clock.
Really?
Off and on. I kind of do that. For like a month here and there. Try to manage the weight. As we get older, it gets harder to lose the weight. So you gotta.
How old are you now?
You gotta switch things up. I ain't saying that shit on
I'm
air.
41 years old. How old are you now?
35.
41? I never would have guessed it, bro. Shit, I would have went with 47.
Yeah, I thought you were
48.
60.
Damn.
Man, shut the fuck up.
Fuck, we need to change your diet a little bit, bro.
I should start intermittent fasting.
Get
like
on my
you.
workout plan.
Should
You
I
look
get on
young like
intermittent-
me.
Should I get on intermittent fasting?
You should.
Have you
He's
tried
eating
that?
He's eating like 4 barbacoa tacos at a time, man.
Yeah,
I would think
that's-
you'd be like staunchly
Bro,
opposed to any
that's
kind of
what
fasting.
happens is like I have to eat. I work out in the morning. I eat super light in the morning. It's almost like intermittent fasting. And after training, I eat a big old lunch because I know like 3, 4 o'clock I can't really eat
You're
that
burning
much
a lot
'cause I'm
more
gonna train
calories than me.
in
I'm
the
not
evening.
doing that shit. So
Yeah.
you're burning a lot more
So-
calories than I am. You have to do that.
You already worked out today.
I already worked out today.
So you get up at what time?
So like today I got up at 7:30, like for a little bit earlier. My alarm was set at 7:30, but I'm a winner, so I got up at 7. I beat the alarm. You know what I mean? I like to win. You know what I mean?
You beat the alarm.
If you beat the alarm,
You
that's
won.
the first. That's the first.
You
you
make
know,
your
that's
bed?
the
I like
first
to beat
victory.
the
You
alarm.
make your bed
I
every
do.
day?
As soon as I get out of bed, I make the bed.
I like to beat the alarm by not hearing that motherfucker.
Hey, there you go. Today was the day I started meditating and shit, man. I got out of bed, sat down, put my timer, crisscross applesauce. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's super
Got on
important,
it.
man. That's super important, man.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking a while back, man. And this is a subject that Diego kind of wanted to touch on, like the mental health aspect
It's
of
important.
the fight game. It's so important, man. As men, we all kind of, have those things that we need to deal with. That's an excellent way, man. Meditation, prayer, those are excellent
It's
ways
big.
to deal with that kind of stuff. If that's something that you're going through.
I had to get up, man. As I was meditating, I was thinking, man, I'm gonna do the Fury podcast. Don't fuck it up.
You spray
Don't-
like
don't fuck it
eucalyptus.
up.
You spray like that eucalyptus spray.
Nah, but I will. I'll give it a try.
right, man.
You know
Open
what I'm
up the
saying?
nostrils.
I'll give it a try. Breathe in, breathe out. You know?
He burns that cannabis.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
That's what he
I
does.
have my eucalyptus going.
So you get up at,
Eucalyptus.
is that a
Air
daily?
quotes.
7
It's
a.m.?
something that I'm trying to like really incorporate. It's not something I've been doing for a long time. Honestly, Junior got me into it. My son got me into it. Like that kid's like real spiritual, like super mind strong type stuff.
That's awesome,
So
man.
he reads a lot of stuff, and he's like, "Man, you need to start meditating." And I used to do it in the karate. I come from a karate background, so we used to. That's how you started and ended training. and just got away from it. And he keeps talking about it. So I was like, man, let's do it. Let's incorporate it. And it's peaceful.
Very, man.
You know what I mean? It's peaceful. You find your zen. It's like it's hard to shut down the mind, but when it does, it's like that's the beauty of it when you shut it down, you know?
So, like, is there a certain time at night that you shut the TV off, shut the phone off, and try and go to sleep at a certain time every day to where you get... Is there a certain amount of hours you sleep?
Sleeping is probably like the most important thing you should be doing. That's like one of the things I struggle with the most.
Yeah,
why I'm kind of trying to do this
hard
stuff.
for me too.
You know what I'm saying? Is meditate in, is like not like recently I realized like I waste a shitload of time on social media. Like I would wake up, 100%. First thing I would do is grab my phone and like look at it like 30 minutes. I'm like, fuck. And I could have been doing something else.
And it'll trap you.
Yeah.
And then you're clicking and clicking.
Have you seen The Social Dilemma? It's on Netflix. It's a documentary.
The one where they put the table, they're at the table and they put the phone like in this glass thing or some shit and the little girl breaks it.
I don't remember that, but maybe
I feel like that's a Vince Vaughn movie.
Nah.
That's just the dilemma.
Nah, it's an interesting documentary, man, and kind of breaks down like how like psychologically like why we do this and what they're trying to do to get you to pick up the phone and check out the screen and all this, like
the endorphins it kicks in and stuff like that.
The notifications, turn those off. By the way, turn off the notifications. But whenever you open Facebook and there's like all these, oh hey, so and so made a new post. Oh hey, you haven't interacted with so and so in a while. They're trying to psychologically get you engaging and keep you on there and spend more time on your phone.
It's a scheme. You know what I mean?
If you're not looking, the advertisers are, they're not going to spend as much money if not as many people are looking.
It's the Matrix, man. They're keeping us locked in.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
We can dive down the rabbit hole. It is.
Do we want to get into that?
Do you remember how better life was when there was no phone?
Oh man, dude.
When there was no, like me coming up,
our kids, man. Like,
I don't think I had my first cell phone until I was probably in a junior in high school, and it was a little flip phone, no screen. Right. I don't know shit. I didn't know shit about. There probably wasn't even Facebook, right?
Oh no,
no, there wasn't.
I don't even think MySpace was around.
MySpace was like right at the end of us, like in the high school.
MySpace, possibly. I was probably 22.
Yeah, I never had MySpace.
21 or 22. I had a MySpace.
I didn't.
Man. MySpace used to let you have your intro music.
Man. Whenever your girl breaks up with you, you go change your song to that Keith Sweat.
Oh, damn.
Why me, baby?
That's the shit he used to do.
I can see it, though. I can see it.
MySpace, where you could change the background and stuff, man.
Man, you used to pull mad pussy, huh? Didn't you?
All of it.
Be honest.
All of it.
Be honest. Be honest, Wayne.
No comment.
Diego,
no comment. This is prior,
monkey sound.
This is prior to the Anita days.
No comment. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. That's as close as you'll get to a confirmation.
Diego was focused on. I mean,
if we had baseball cards, my stats would be okay. I would not be ashamed of my stats. All right, on the back of the baseball card, I'll leave it at that.
All right, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. All right, so you get up at 7 a.m. So for you to have a first workout before you got up here, you were in the gym. I already have.
Today we did.
I already got a 3-mile run in.
Yeah.
And I already hit the weights today.
It don't look like it, but hey. But let me see that stomach. Oh, yeah. 3 mile.
Hey, this is brought to you by Hollerhead Whiskey.
Woo!
Everything you see on this body is brought to you by Hollerhead Whiskey.
Hey.
I wouldn't have it no other. See, there you go. And we got the mascot right here.
Yeah, man.
Dang.
How's that second cup going down, D? Yeah, he's getting there.
He's
already on the second. I'm still on the first. I got to catch up.
Yeah, man. I'm about to have to
refill I can start making monkey noises.
This break brought to you by Hollerhead Whiskey.
So look, man, today was this. You texted me yesterday last minute because you didn't have no other guests to come.
No, because
that's why he messaged me.
Hey,
so I'm here.
Say,
you know what I'm here.
Lester,
I'll take it.
Lester,
I'm honored.
I will say he's been talking about bringing you on for a while.
Yeah.
Like, hey, who can we bring on? Who can we bring on? And your name is at the top of the list. Yes. Like, man, I know I can get Lester on short notice if we need to.
We
want to plan it out. So I mean, he's been one to bring you in.
Next to me and make me look better.
Yeah, right. So you're not. You may be a last minute notification, but you're not like last minute thought. You're always at the top of Eric's mind.
I've been talking to you about coming on for a long time. Be honest.
We talked. We talked about it. I think since before you even did it.
Yeah, he was supposed to be our first guest, but his schedule and our schedule sometimes they just don't mix. And you're super busy.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. No, I'm just happy to be here, man. This is awesome. I get to see myself on this camera. You know what I mean?
Hold on, there you go.
Look at you.
Hey, full body lotion, everybody.
Jacked,
full body lotion. I promise. Lotion after every shower when the pores are open.
See that?
You'll look good like me.
Keeps
See what I'm saying?
no wrinkles
At all.
Fucking looking
God
20 years
damn it.
old over here.
Extra eucalyptus.
21, I could drink though. 21, so I could drink.
So tell me about what'd you do? You got
All right, so today was a little different. This isn't all the time. So I changed the workout, the training session an hour and a half earlier so I could be here on time.
Weights or what?
No. It was, we basically did some Secret Ninja stuff. Working with Colton today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, working with Colton. He got that fight. It's December
12, 18?
18.
December 18th. We're going to go out there. I know you guys were kind of talking about
we're
it.
going to jump into that.
Yeah, with the wrestling and all that. Honestly, man, to be honest, I just...
Without giving the game plan away too much.
Without giving no game plan away is we work everything.
That's what I was going to say.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not one, I don't have a squad of like 20, 30 individuals.
Yeah, so
it's
real quick,
very small.
for people listening and don't know, I know we're talking about Lester's workout, but Lester runs the MMA program at Renzo Gracie Lake Houston.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yep.
Is that the only gym?
That's the only gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then y'all cross-train here
Yeah,
and
we
there.
cross-train with other guys like Main Street, 4 ounce and stuff like that. They've been our homies since like day one. So we go over there. We know we can get some good, tough rounds. They're good, tough guys. And more than anything, everybody stays safe. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like we do our training is a very small group. It's usually like it could be 3 people, it could be 8 people.
How many active fighters do you have right now that are underneath you?
Honestly, not many at all.
I know your son is probably the most active, right?
Yeah, so like Colton trains with us. I've been with him for a bit. Junior, Lester Jr., the unit. He's super active right now. He's doing Worlds, that USA team. He's doing Worlds in February. He's going to be in Serbia. So he's representing Team USA at welterweight. 5 fights in 5 days. So there are a few other, like 2-3 other young guys, but I got a few prospects that are going to be coming up.
When me and you talked about Lester Jr., that's why you said when he comes back from that, he's going pro.
Yeah, he's going pro.
Because basically 5 fights in 5 days. The last time when he went to Mexico
3
City,
fights in 3 days.
Okay, so that's 8.
Took first place. Yeah,
that's 8 fights, and then he's had how many
he
in the
did.
Fury amateur cage?
So in the Fury amateur cage, it was 4 or 5. 5. Yeah, 5.
So he'll end up with 13 amateur fights.
Yeah.
And then
19 years old. Well, he's turning 20 in January. So at 19 years old, he racked up basically like 9 fights. Literally like a year and a couple months.
I talk about with these guys how Josh Van is the most active guy on the roster. Technically, your son could take that spot. So
Lester did like quick. 9 fights in like a year and a couple of months. Josh is somebody that trained with us too. Like Josh is my he doesn't train with us now. I may see him at 4 ounce and stuff like that, but he trained with us for a bit too. And you guys were talking about it. Like that kid is fucking talented.
Very talented.
Like he's
21.
Let's just be honest. That kid has been training like 3 years. In 3 years, he went amateur, a shitload of fights for you, then went pro, shitload of fights for you.
He's fought like 30 pro fights since last year.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. But it's not just that he's fought so many times in 3 years span. He started training 3 years ago.
Right.
So
you learned how to throw his first real punch.
Yeah, like how many times do you see a person say, I'm going to train now, and in 3 years, I feel he's a true contender to make it to the UFC.
Yeah.
I agree.
In 3 years of your life, like that's very unheard of. You know what I mean? And I've had the opportunity to train with them, coach him a little bit, and he's a lot smaller to spar with them. I mean, the kid's he's a dog. You know what I mean?
What do you think if he beats Cleveland McLean in a devastating fashion? You think he's got good chances to get signed?
I would think his record
7-1,
and the way he wins fights, he's finishing fights.
He's not boring.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the kid is not fucking boring.
So he's somebody Mick would be like, "Fuck yeah."
I mean, I don't like to speak for anybody, but I know that Mick loves a guy that comes in and bangs.
Yep.
And so that's basically everything Thong is.
Yeah.
He's a banger.
And he's young.
And he's extremely young. And I mean, shit, the sky's the limit for that. As long as that kid stays focused, he's got true potential. You know what I mean?
Thong.
It's just like I
heard
told
that one in a while. He
I
shortened his name.
call him Thong.
I know. Yeah, we all call him that.
He showed. You know what what song he should walk out to? That's Cisco. Thong, the thong, thong, thong.
Whenever he was fighting amateur, I gave him a fun nickname. I don't know if you
Diego
remember.
knows the words to that
Bro,
song.
Oh, I bet he
next
does.
time
All
he
of them.
submits,
That's Diego's go-to karaoke
he
song.
submits a song. Y'all act like y'all didn't get the song and put on that Cisco for his walkout.
I don't want. Well, so after his title fight, I might, but I don't want to fuck up
Lights out.
We
Plus,
messed that up.
when that song fucking hits, I don't want to see Diego run from the TV truck trailer inside.
Yeah, he's gonna be twerking on the stage
Start looking
next
for
to
the
him.
girls. You know,
Nah, man. The Fury scene it's a badass scene. And honestly, I've had the opportunity to like either work with a lot of guys, whether it's like not necessarily coaching, but just spar with them or like train with them or move along the room with them. And it's some true talent.
You're just as much a part of that as any of us that are a part of it, man. Because I mean, you've been there since day one, helping Eric build cards and having fighters available readily. Yeah. So I mean, you're as much a part of the Fury footprint 100%. As anyone.
Yeah, I love the Fury fights, man.
A piece of that belongs to y'all, man. To you and your team for sure. So you did practice with Colton.
Yeah, so we did a practice with Colton. It was me and one other guy. I mean, like I said, we work everything. My predictions on the fight are really anywhere he wants to take it. I mean, no disrespect to the other kid.
Whitney's tough.
Yeah, Whitney, that's what I told him. I said, man,
he trains with a tough team. Bedford's a fucking
good squad.
monster.
They got Evan Cutts out there, Bedford. They got a lot of guys out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a good scrap. It'll be a good fight for both of them.
I mean, he's such a polite guest, man. He brought a coaster.
Well, that's because I already spilled something,
what a
so
guy.
I was like, let me...
You need a refill?
Nah, I'm still good.
You need a refill over there, Pop?
Yeah, Papa Garcia in the studio today. We're not going to bring him on. We have a live
that's
audience.
the OG right there.
Yeah,
OG in the
man.
studio today.
Woo!
We actually went and watched some fights on.
I saw that.
We went to Paradigm. Shout out to Reed. Reed's doing. You used to train with Reed.
I used to train at Paradigm,
Reed
so Reed told me that he had a couple tickets for me. I was like, man, I'll take my dad like old times.
Is it boxing?
It was a
like a hybrid event?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was MMA and it was MMA and boxing.
Okay.
And I'm not a huge fan of boxing,
I love boxing.
but sitting
Me too.
sitting right there, it was pretty exciting.
Yeah,
like,
man. Live. It's a lot more fun to watch live than on TV these days, man. Like,
I agree.
Growing up, dude, I used to love watching HBO boxing, man, back in the day.
Yeah.
We've talked about that before.
Yeah, man, but, like...
Mike Tyson
Boxing changed.
Yes.
The old school Oscar De La
Yes.
Hoya boxing.
Boxing used to be about
Boxing
like,
changed.
hey, I'm going to get in your face and like, we're going to fucking chunk. And one of us is going
And now
down.
it's like,
It's pretty.
Mayweather, we're going to go to the judges and I'm going to
pretty.
outpoint you. And I'm the greatest boxer alive. It's like, man, whenever people like, hype that kind of stuff, I'm like, dude, that's boxing, but it's not boxing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's a more technical boxing. Like, and I don't disagree with Mayweather in the sense of like, hey, the game is to get to touch and not get touched.
to land as many punches
That's
and
what
not
I
get
teach.
touched.
That's my
exactly.
style.
It'd be nice if he was knocking people out with those punches, though, and not just touching, not just making touches.
That's the only thing I would say different. It is about touch and not get touched, but at some point you got to look for a finish.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a homeboy of mine. I'm not going to say his name on the air because I don't want to embarrass him, but he's like Mayweather, man. He is a badass. Don't get me wrong.
We're talking about Eric, right?
TMT all the way. TMT is like, man, look, dude. We all love and respect Mayweather, but come on, who can like really enjoy that kind of a fight? Ooh, my guy's going to outpoint your guy. Ooh.
I guess I just don't look at it as real fighting. Boxing is a sport.
It is.
What it is
But
today
it's not-
compared to what we grew up on, man. Like
It's not realistic.
we grew up on
real
Mike
fighting.
Tyson killing fools,
Yeah,
man.
the Tyson, the Chavez. I mean, like,
Yeah,
just
but any of those guys
List
get
goes on.
hit with a fucking leg kick, what happens?
oh shit, it's done.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
So that makes it not real fighting.
Exactly.
And that's no disrespect
that's where I'm
to
with
a
you.
boxer,
Yes.
but I'll say this: the first time I took a leg kick, I was like, "What
happens
the
if you shoot
fuck
for a
was
takedown
that?
on a
That was when I
boxer?
sparred with you at Paradigm. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that?
I remember that time, man. My knuckles stayed hurting after that. I was like, I needed ice.
There's the comeback.
I was like, dude. But give credit to Eric. He'll take a licking and keep on ticking. You know what I mean? So I had to just keep on licking.
That's what Papa Garcia said when they were growing up, man. He like kept whooping.
Hey,
him. Damn, this
after-
kid-
That belt got tired of
After
kid
it.
won't learn.
After that sparring session, I started calling them pillow hands. I was like, man, I could just stand. I ain't even got to cover my face
I could take
no more.
these all
I'm not
day,
even going to
man.
weave these. I'm just going to stay.
But anyway, we went and checked out the Paradigm fights. It was some good scraps. It was 6 fights on the card, 4 boxing and 2 MMA.
Yeah, who they have in the main event?
I didn't watch the boxing. We left right before the main event. We finished
Discriminative.
with Craig Grove. Craig Grove fought
Oh, Caveman.
Caveman.
Yeah,
Dude, I missed that guy,
Caveman's
dude.
a big dude. Big
Yeah.
70.
So he
Is
fought
he?
at 170, and he actually
Did he fight for us at like 155?
he did.
Okay, because he wasn't fighting a welterweight whenever he fought for us back in the day.
I couldn't imagine him making 155. He's bigger than me.
Yeah,
Like,
he carries a lot of muscle these
than I
days.
am, yeah.
Man, I remember he was on, I think, is either the first or the second Cage Combat card that I did for you, and he was a last-minute replacement. A guy fell off, and you found him, somebody who, it may have been Lester.
He's a 4-ounce guy.
It's like, hey, I got a guy. And, you know, his opponent was like, all like, yeah, I got this shit, you know, whenever doing the intros. And across the cage, you know, introducing his opponent, but Craig Groves, and man, his demeanor his look never changed. It was just like,
He's a tough guy.
I think he fought at Superior
and
Combat
man,
Championship, too.
he finished him like, I think he like pretty much finished him in the first round. I don't think the dude came out for the second, or maybe he finished him in the second. He didn't come out for the his opponent like was like, nah, fuck this, I'm done. And it's like, okay, it's over.
Leg kicks change your life.
It was from leg kicks.
Straight up.
But yeah, dude. And then from there, he kind of went on a little run for us, and then he kind of fell off the map. You know, we haven't seen him in a long time. I would love to see Craig Grove on one of these Fury cards. That's just me personally, because he goes back to like those early Cage Combat days.
But welterweights is nice, man. I feel like the welterweight division in general is just dying everywhere.
I think Craig is 5-2 now as a pro at 170. Why not 4-0 Isaac Moreno?
Yeah. Boom. I like it. I like it.
Versus
Ooh.
Caveman.
Ooh. I like what you're doing here, Eric Garcia.
Yeah.
Down in Edinburgh.
Ooh.
We can do it in Edinburgh, or we can do it here. Craig's got a following here.
Oh, I know.
So either place makes
that'd be a
sense
good
for me.
scrap.
It's a good scrap,
That's a
right?
good scrap for the fans. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Fans travel, too.
Yeah.
Moreno's from where? He's from Houston, right?
He's from
He's
Edinburgh.
from Brownsville.
Oh, Brownsville.
He's from
They
Brownsville.
will travel.
So the fights were good. All in all, that card was solid. For me, it was good to be at a show that I didn't have to work. It's been, dude, it's been
That's foreign to you, right?
God, it's been so long. And it was well ran, good fights. We had a good time. Bart was there.
Oh, Bart.
Yeah, my old ring announcer.
Who's that?
The Rev.
Yeah, the Reverend Bart.
Oh, you see what he's doing? You see what he's doing to me?
dang, We started something here.
It's like he went back and he went and had lunch with his old girlfriend. Hey, I had lunch with her. Yeah, but it's
happened.
okay.
Nothing
Yeah, we didn't do anything.
No,
we just
but-
had lunch.
Listen,
They
but
just-
to see Bart and to remember,
Hey, man. Yeah, shout out to Bart, man. He's another one of those OGs, man.
He announced you at. He had to have announced you at some Lone Star.
I'm pretty
Stalls,
sure,
right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was at Young Guns.
The Young
I fought
Guns.
Young Guns, and he used to do
What year was that?
Shit. That's like at least 12, 13 years ago.
Okay, so I remember me and my dad going to fights at Renegades, and it had to be like 04, 05.
So Renegades was before Young Guns.
Okay.
Yeah, so Renegades
Was Young Guns
like
pro or
04.
AMI?
It was
AMI, right?
AMI.
It was AMI.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had Renegades for the pros, and then TDLR started letting him do Pro-Am, and he started Young Guns.
I think Young Guns was all AMI, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Saul started doing amateur fights. But anyway, I remember seeing Bart in like 04, 05,
Yeah.
and he had that long ass intro. Fucking did it.
Yeah.
Again. For Reed, he did it again for Reed. And I had that same feeling as back in the day. I was like, man, this dude.
Hey, Bart.
Different styles.
Bart, yeah. I mean, styles make announcers. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like styles make
Granted,
fights,
this dude's
you know
got
what
a
I mean?
style like.
He's got a swag.
Yeah.
Like his swag is unbeatable. It's unmatchable.
And
But Rev had his own
I appreciate you saying that.
swag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
And Fight Pass loves Wayne's style and his
Yeah.
pace and everything.
Dude, look
about
at
it.
his beard. I mean, why would they not love him? You know
I
what
was-
mean?
I trimmed it a little
Look
bit.
at
It
that.
was longer, man.
No shave
Wow.
November.
Yeah.
How long can you get it in no shave?
Man, see, the problem is, I like start to look at it and go, dude, this.
Okay, so this is
no.
what we're gonna do next year. On October 31st, we're gonna baby fucking shaving cream razor.
You've lost your mind.
No.
No.
And then for 30 days, you're not gonna
shave
do
each
shit.
other's like you
All
shave
right,
me. I
I'm gonna
you.
shave, and then I'm gonna go
You
into
know what I mean?
hiding for like a week.
Just
I'm not-
shave your
I'm not
face?
going- I'm not going baby face.
You have to start fresh.
Yeah, you're right.
So
you're
for
right.
November 1st,
Right.
you got the whole month to.
All right.
How long? How long can you grow?
don't book any shows for that first week in November.
Oh,
then.
no, we're going ass face.
I'm not.
To the
I'm not
first show.
going.
Face.
I'm not
Oh,
going
damn.
baby face, clean shaved on UFC Fight Pass.
You
man.
might. Yeah, they might love you more.
My problem
Yeah,
is
but
this
then,
this
they
takes
might want me
about
to
a
shave
month
all the
grow.
time.
Yeah.
I can't have that.
What?
This takes about a month to grow. I don't grow facial hair too fast. You know what I mean?
So-
no, you do. Let me see your back. I bet you got a hairy back. Dude, whoa.
Whoa,
Let's keep
man.
this on
Hey,
him.
hey, somebody had Tara a manscaper, right?
Hey,
He can't grow a beard. You can't grow a beard for real.
I mean, look at it.
It's a little patchy.
He said that,
Yeah,
that's a month
exactly.
right there.
I
That,
can't-
that looks
I've been
freshly
working,
trimmed.
bro.
I think he trimmed it last night. Like, oh shit, I'm gonna be on
trim it,
camera
but
tomorrow.
if I shave it, like, oh man, this is taking forever to come back.
So if we do No Shave November with you, you're gonna fucking look the same on day.
So like January and shit. Like, you shaved again? Nah, this is from November 1st.
Lester, we're supposed to be growing it, man. I haven't shaved.
Bro, I've been working on this I'm proud of what's going on right here, man. This is the most I've had it.
So going back, you fought on Young Guns. What actually got you started in MMA? You said earlier you started in a karate background.
So karate was like my first thing. I started karate in the Chuck Norris program, Kick Drugs Out of America.
Kicking kids.
Yeah, you got to kick all the kids. Like,
Kicking
they get
kids, yeah,
attitudes, you
man.
kick
Fuck
kids.
those kids, man.
Kicking kids?
I think it was.
It's called
Kicking kids?
Kick Drugs Out of America, but kicking kids sounds good.
That sounds like something for 20 years ago. They didn't really think about what
Yeah.
the connotation of what they were saying.
Yeah.
Hey, kicking kids. I
It
like
would have
that.
been better, kids kicking.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but they're
Right.
like
They didn't have
kicking
a mind for
It
marketing back
probably
then.
was kids kicking, and Diego's just drunk, and he's saying
Yeah, it
kicking
probably
kids.
was.
It works. Yeah,
We're
man,
gonna follow that with
I
punching
started off
children.
with that, and from that, like traditional martial, I always like. That's why I always root for like karate guys because I love the karate guys. You spar. I mean, we train. I have a very big karate style.
Yeah.
So
you love
he was
like
a karate
a-
guy, wasn't he?
Yes.
And you love like a Charlie Ontiveros.
I like karate, but there's also a point where you can be too karate. Just like
Right.
I love Muay Thai.
Yeah.
But if you could be too Muay Thai for MMA. Like everything, like boxing, you got to box one way.
Right.
Muay Thai one way, karate. But if you know how to mix it, and I think over the years, like I've been able to develop, have good coaches that help me develop it. But karate's the first love.
And you
then-
started that when? How old were you?
Shit, I was like 12.
Okay.
Well, I was middle school, 6th grade. So
Okay.
what was that, like 11, 12
11,
years
12
old?
years old, yeah. Well,
Did
for you,
that.
probably 15.
Yeah, I kept failing. You know what I mean?
In middle school, 15.
5, 6 years did that.
Sixth
Yeah,
grade.
he was
15.
driving to school in 8th grade.
I had all the honey.
No wonder
bet you
you
did.
had all the
All
girls.
of them.
I'll bet you did.
All
You're
of
the
them.
biggest 6th grader they had.
Hey.
Lester's got a car.
Hey, it was legal.
All right, so you got started in karate. This is why I love Lester.
I know,
man.
right? It's easy to
Lester
sidebar with
rolls.
Lester.
Oh, dude,
I always
he
check IDs. I promise.
Yeah.
I always check. Let me see your ID. Let me see if you're
Hey,
legal.
hey. I'm like very legal. Very.
What happens to the one that's got the fake ID?
That's not my fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look at hey, close enough.
What am I, a professional? What am I, a
Close
bouncer?
enough.
Dude, in my mind right
I'm
now,
supposed to have a flashlight and
I'm
shit.
thinking,
Flashlight
why
on it?
didn't we bring this dude in a long time ago?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It
Lester-
was a matter of time. But
Gotta
Yeah.
keep it PG.
because
Gotta keep it PG.
We had like Alex Morano available, and
Alex
Ricky
is the man.
Tercios available.
Alex is a bad
we
dude.
got we had
Hey,
like
speaking of Alex,
guys
this dude
coming off
fought
the fight.
Alex.
I know
that was
back
one,
in
that
the
was
day,
one of my
man.
worst fights ever, though.
Really?
He beat me fast, man.
We learned
Yeah,
though.
he beat me fast. But Alex, you know what? Look what I did for Alex.
Yep.
He's in the UFC now. He beat me, and he's in the UFC now.
I know, right? I mean,
See what I
shit,
mean?
dude.
100%.
Alex Morano, I've never got to thank you. All right,
Just buy him a drink.
hey, buy me a drink,
Buy him a
Alex.
drink.
Or a taco or four.
You beat me, built the confidence. He's in the UFC now, doing hella good. See what happens?
Yeah,
100%.
if you beat Lester Batres, you're going
going to the
somewhere.
UFC.
Hey,
Yeah.
Frank Trevino beat me. He made it to. He's not in the UFC now, but he went to the UFC.
We're gonna
right
pull
after.
up Tapology and see what the
Pull up
ratio
Lester's.
is. What's the ratio of beating Lester
Evan Cutts beat
to
me.
the
He made it
UFC?
he did Bellator.
He did the Bellator,
You know what I
like
mean?
the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Bellator.
yeah, that thing,
Evan
so-
Cutts is knocking on UFC doors.
He's good.
He's close.
man.
I'm
Yeah, the
hoping.
butcher.
He's close,
The
man.
butcher. Good
He's
dude.
close.
Every time I see him, you know what? That's one thing about fighting and MMA that I love. I never had a bad experience with an opponent that I was like, bitch, I hate
Yeah,
you. And then we
yeah.
fought, win or lose, and
neither.
it's like, fuck you. It's like, it's always been very mutual respect. You know,
It's been a sport.
before and after. It's a sport. It's just, you got to get in there. One man is going to come out victorious.
Right. And you know that going in. It's
Yeah,
me
I
or
mean,
you.
it is. There's two options here, you know.
And how can you come out of an experience like that, like still being
Hating that
disrespectful?
person,
I mean,
yeah.
fuck
Well, that's what
you,
I don't
whatever,
understand.
yeah.
Like a lot of these guys, some guys that we match don't even know each other.
And they start hating each other.
Yeah.
And they show up to weigh-ins and the dude's all in his face. And I'm like, you don't even know this guy.
Man.
Like,
I don't believe in that. I'm going to tell you
That
why I don't
that
believe
looks like
that.
fear to me.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't believe that, right? Because I believe that that's what you should do. If you're pissed off when you train all the time, that's how you should do it. But like I tell, at least our group is like this. It's like, okay, like we're all individuals, right? I'm a guy that right before I'm a spar, like, I laugh.
Yep.
I do this because I love it,
Right.
right? So I'll be talking shit, but as soon as it's like go time, it's like boom,
Let's
go
go.
time, pop, 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 and then afterwards I'm laughing. So most of the guys I work with, like I see everybody's different, right? If I see a guy that's like humorous before, I'm like, there's no reason to go into a fight pissed off.
Right.
When every day you train in a humorous like environment. To keep yourself in that humorous environment so that when you fight, you're you.
You're comfortable.
Yeah, you're you. I've seen guys that they like to play around. We play around in the gym, and then they go to fights, and they're trying to like, hype themselves up,
And
and
you're
then
like,
they
what
get in
are
a
you doing?
fight, and they didn't fight like they usually do. Why? Because you don't train pissed off.
Right.
Now, if you're a guy that there is guys that train pissed off. They should fight pissed off and get pissed off at their opponent.
Yeah, totally. I think our audience
But
gets what you're saying.
if that's not
100%.
you, then don't be like that.
Yeah.
You
That's,
know?
yeah, that's fucking good. That's good knowledge right there, right?
Damn,
doing this
should we
for a
pay
while.
him? Like, do we have to pay him for this?
Should we pay you for this?
I thought I was getting paid.
Give some
I'm not getting paid.
There's a little bit of howler left. You had the last shot.
So you took your first amateur fight. What year was it?
Man, I can't remember. Maybe like 13 years ago.
And it was for Saul's promotion?
It was for Sal Young Guns, man. Sal
You remember who you
ran
fought?
a very good promotion. No, it wasn't actually. My first fight, amateur, was for Mick. It was Lone Star Beatdown. I fought outside a bar in Huntsville.
Okay.
And it was November, so I hadn't shaved because you know what I mean. It was November. But anyways, it was a November that was cold. And when I first started, I was like,
It was outside?
it was outside.
It was
cold.
outside a bar. So
Yeah,
it was like
it was good days, man. It was outside a bar.
Was it sanctioned back then?
It was sanctioned.
So it was
And-
a dude with a fake ID that was getting thrown out.
pull
Had to fight
Lester's,
Lester.
Bruh, my record ain't huge. I honestly
No, I
didn't
just
have a
want
lot
to see
of
what
fights.
year that was.
That amateur. I wonder if it's even on there. I don't think.
It should
I don't know if they put on
Back
Tapology. I don't know if they put.
Look, right away it pulls up my boy,
outside of the
my
Huntsville bar.
7-1 Lester Batres Jr.
Hey, the unit,
Dude, that's
the
a
unit,
fucking
The
record.
unit.
the unit.
It's a great
So
record, man.
we're about to fight, and it starts sprinkling. So it's the canvas is like wet and
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
And they're like, somebody comes to the back. They're like, man, anybody kicking is busting their ass. I was like, fuck, that's like my whole game plan
Yeah,
is
don't
to
even
kick
have it.
somebody. You know.
It has your first amateur fight with Alex Morano.
So that was my last amateur fight.
That was
so
in,
I guess like before that.
that was
keeping
May
track of it.
14th, 2010.
So I fought
This is probably 2008.
Okay, so I'll tell you
a
this.
year or two before that.
Okay.
Probably if there's no records here, it's because
Promote?
no, it's because
Fuck.
it's because the shit wasn't sanctioned yet.
No, for sure. Yeah,
No, it
outside a
was
bar.
it?
I doubt it.
But like there was I think there was, man, I can't remember. That's a Mick question right there. That was Mick's show. And then
Well,
Young
if it was
Guns
Mick, it was sanctioned.
Yeah, it was Lone Star Beatdown.
Yeah, Mick's not gonna fuck around.
So
Alright, I
after
won't
that,
make
I
the
won
jokes
that
about
fight
that.
like in 46 seconds.
Maybe it was Collins' promotion.
Yeah, maybe it was Colin.
If it was Collins' promotion, then maybe.
Colin Cantrell.
Then it was probably not, maybe possibly sanctioned.
Yeah.
Could have been. Probably wasn't.
If it was Mick, it's legit. If it was Colin, I don't know.
It's maybe.
That's
Shout
a
out
bold
to
lie.
Colin.
That's
Maybe,
a bold
maybe
lie.
not.
Yeah,
love
we love
Colin.
Colin. Love Colin Cantrell, man. That's my dude.
So that probably was what 07.
Could have been, man. That was a long. What was that? 2010.
That was 2010
my
with
last
Morano.
amateur one with Morano.
Who was the first guy you fought? You remember?
This guy from College Station. I don't remember.
Have you heard the Colin Cantrell first fight story?
Didn't he fight Eves Edwards?
fought Eves.
Everybody, he's
Yeah.
fucking Edwards.
Yeah, he fought fucking
Fuck.
Eves. And he said he was shit, and he was like, dude, I was so scared. And Eves comes into the locker room with Colin, and he tells Colin, you scared, huh?
He told him that?
Yeah, and Colin's like, yeah. And he's like, well, listen, I'll take it at your pace.
We'll go at your pace.
Yeah, we'll go at your
Man, he's
pace.
such a nice guy.
dude.
Dude, Colin says that he went out there and he's like squared up with Eves, and he's like, dude, I didn't know if I was nervous or what, but I just fucking felt my leg give out, and I was just like, he's like, dude, this motherfucker kicked me so fast, I didn't even see it. Dude, so he got the leg kicked the shit out of him.
And he didn't even realize he got kicked. He's
No,
like,
he didn't even realize it.
Did the bell ring?
Yeah.
Did we even start
And he
yet?
says before you know it, he charges Eve, and Eve like gets him to the ground and fucking spins for a knee bar and taps him in like 30 seconds.
It's like a minute 20. But Colin tells it like, you know, he's like a shark playing with his food.
Yeah.
Like that was the only reason it went a minute and 20.
Yeah, he gave him. He tried to give him a little space.
When you-
He gave him a minute. He gave him a minute.
That's
Colin
impressive.
Cantrell can always say, I went over a minute with
With
Eve
Eve Edwards.
Edwards.
Sure did.
So
To
He's
think
just a
about
bad dude, man.
to
Bad,
think
bad
about
dude.
those OGs like that,
Yeah.
and to know that like they're here still in Houston and they started this shit, man. That's like Eves.
He's
Dude,
just teaching down at Heritage.
You get in the cage right now with Eves and spar, that fucker still got something for
Yeah.
you. Like he still got.
Yeah.
yeah.
Last time I trained with them was at Travis's at Tooks.
Yeah.
You know,
Grappled?
Yeah, grapple with them. I never sparred with Eves.
I've
like
sparred with
kickbox or MMA. We always just like jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? Phenomenal. Real tricky. Real tricky.
Yeah, Eves is tough. So what made you, when you started fighting Amy, was there ever a goal to say, man, I want to be in the UFC, or
That's
I'm just
the
doing it for
difference.
fun? Because I know, like me, you've always been like self-employed and your own businessman. And
It was just like, man, honestly, I never had aspirations of making it to the UFC, which was probably a downfall because you're fighting guys that have those aspirations.
But-
it was more of a, like, I did good in jiu-jitsu. I started drinking a lot. I was drinking a lot, partying, you could say. I had gained, I was like 250 pounds, and I was like, man, I need to lose some weight. Started lifting weights, running, and it just didn't satisfy. Weights and running doesn't satisfy me.
Right.
So I was like, man, I need to get back to, like, martial arts. So I signed up at a jiu-jitsu school.
Where?
I was, it was Solis Martial Arts here in Humble.
with Alvis?
Alvis.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my first jiu-jitsu coach. And
Okay.
I was like, not to sound like cocky, but I was having 15, 20 matches and winning everything by sub.
And you were a white belt.
I was a white belt, competing blue belt. Blue belt, I was competing advanced ranks in jiu-jitsu. And then Alvis is like, you should probably fight. Now, that's when, that's basically when it was starting.
So
out
you
here.
took your first fight was with Alvis?
With,
Under Alvis?
under Alvis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was Travis training over there?
No, Travis had just
left
probably
already.
left over there. I didn't meet Travis there. And so they were like, dude, you should do a fight, man. Like, you seem to do pretty good in competition. So I was like, I never had thought of doing an MMA fight. I remember watching UFC and thinking, like, those dudes are like fucking comic books to me. You know, like comic book heroes.
Yeah.
So when they was brought up to me, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do
Exactly,
it.
man. You could have been one of those.
And it was just one of those. It was just one of those, like, fuck it, let's do it. Did one. Never really thinking of doing another, which is like
Right.
one. And then it was like, I think Salden or somebody hit me like, hey, you
Solid.
want to do another one? And I was like, yeah. And I did it. And then it was like, never really thinking of the next one. It was just more like, okay, you want on the next card? And I was like, yeah, I guess, let's do it. Fuck it. Let's go. Back then it was different. Like, you would just fight anybody. It wasn't like, look at records and like that, or like even with
There
Nick,
was no tapology and shit
No.
to look at.
Honestly-
Let me figure out where this guy's
Right.
from.
even with like Mick when I went pro and fought for Legacy, like I was the easiest. I would have been if I was still fighting.
You were
would've
the
loved me.
easiest fight for
I was
anybody.
just my thing was like, find me the toughest guy I could fight. I'll fight him.
The answer
That's
was
it.
yes.
Dude,
That's
his,
pretty much
his
it.
pro debut was against Evan Cutts.
Yeah,
Nice.
we're both young. Well,
That's
I
what
was.
I said.
He was younger than me. I was older.
Yeah,
I
y'all
was
were
kind of
both
like the older
younger.
cat. Yeah.
2011.
That was a long time
long
ago
time
for
ago,
all of
man.
us, man. Shit.
I think though, like, so me for this, it was the same. When I started fighting, I was like, I just want to. It was
do it.
fun. Let's see what it's like.
Yeah.
There was really never no vision to go to the UFC, but at the same time, there was really no direct path.
Who was getting
right?
pushed at that time?
Nobody.
First was the first Andrew
Pineda.
or Pineda?
Pineda.
And then Craig, right?
Yeah, but that was still years later after
Yeah.
making your amateur
Yeah,
debut.
back then, it was more like a lottery ticket, like a scratch out. Like, how do you make it to
You
UFC?
didn't
You just
hear
got
it.
to
Right,
get
there was
lucky.
no way.
You have to get seen somehow. How does that happen?
Now that you walk in the gym and you see there's a UFC fight, you see how they train. Like, you didn't see that back then. Back then there was no UFC fighter in Houston. Well, Eves
Mike
had
Swick.
moved probably somewhere else. Mike Swick, but he wasn't really training in Houston no more. He had
apparently,
moved,
he came out of Bushy Bond.
but he went somewhere else.
But he went somewhere else.
Like now, like these young guys have the privilege of seeing to see true athletes and you see how they train. Like, that's good to see as a young guy. We didn't, we
100%, man.
Yeah,
Like,
so-
just did this shit.
Daniel Pineda went to the UFC in 2012.
Then Craig,
Yeah. So
then Melanson, Brian.
you had to have had your first. I think Mick started promoting maybe in like 06.
I wasn't his. I was
07.
probably like his second, or I was on his second or third card.
But he
Not
started
his
in
first
College
one.
Station.
He started in College Station at Hurricane Harry's, I believe.
Yes.
And then he did that one that he did in Huntsville at a bar, but I don't remember the name of the bar. I just know
Was it Hurricane
Huntsville.
Harry's?
I don't think it was Hurricane Harry's.
Hurricane Harry's was in College Station.
Yeah.
Because like Mike Jackson used to fight on those.
I was like on the second or third.
You ever fight Mike Jackson?
I've sparred with Mike Jackson. I've trained with them multiple
And he told
times.
us he whooped your ass a couple times.
Did he say that?
Yeah. He said he liked.
Hey, just take good pictures of my son when he fights, man. We won't say nothing else.
But it's cool, man, to see like from back then to where MMA has gone now.
Man, MMA, from what, like, if I give you my opinion, I can offend people, and then I can also praise people. I feel that back then,
that's what the microphones are for, sir.
Tough motherfuckers were
100%.
Like, man, you went to our we went to our room, and it was like, man,
we used to have Tuesday, Thursday, 5-5s,
and Fridays. Well, Fridays that took in the morning,
dude. It was fucking great. Best sparring sessions I ever had. Yeah. I used to, and when it was Lester, Mike Bronzoulis, Brian Melanson, Andrew Craig, Rex Road, Huerta,
So you
Colin Wright.
You're dropping some massive names there. How does Lester compare to those names?
He was right in the mix, bro.
You had to have somebody to make it look good. You know what I mean? I might not be able to fight, but
his fucking hair was always on point.
He's so modest.
He would take the headgear off, and his shit was looking the same, like he never put a headgear on.
I wouldn't even wear headgear. Hide the hair? I wouldn't do that. Come on, hide part of my face? No way,
dude. But those, like, going back to that,
it was war, man. It was battles.
And nobody, like, when we would get offered fights or it was time to fight, there was, man, I really don't like that guy.
Yeah.
Or where's he from? What's his record? Or
sorry, I'm a fight.
Can I see some videos on him?
It was just all right, I want to fight. I asked you for a fight.
This dude's your weight. Let's do it.
You said that. Boom. Let's go.
Fighters want to fight. Fighters want to fight, man. Like, I don't go back as far as you guys do in this fight game. But, man, like those early Ultimate Fighter days, whenever Dana White and the guys in the house have to fight and they're, like, bitching about it or whatever, and Dana White comes in and he's like, look, guys, I don't know why you thought you were here. You're going to fight.
Y'all aren't friends.
Yeah. Exactly. And he's like, look, fighters want to fight. And, I mean, that quote stuck with me, all those years ago before I was even anywhere near involved with any of this stuff. He's like, fighters want to fight. If you don't want to fight, I don't fucking need you here. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, whenever Eric pitches somebody a fight, if you want to see video, if you want records, if you want all this information, it's like, dude, find that out on your own. Why are you asking him, number one? But, dude, right away, it's like, okay, you don't want to fight. The answer should be yes. Fighters want to fight. That's just my opinion. That's my take on it. Obviously, there's some strategy involved. You want to do some research.
Especially now.
So I want to put that out there. I mean, the answer should automatically be yes all the time. I totally get that. But fighters want to fight, and there shouldn't be all these hurdles and obstacles to making a fight happen that I know he sometimes has to deal with, and I know you've dealt with in the past.
Well, sometimes I deal with them, and if I deal with them, like, damn, I done made 5 offers and dude turned all 5 down. That's different. But, like, if I give one offer and they're like, is there another option? And then I give another, then that's okay.
That's respectable.
Even 2 to 3 options.
Let me see some options.
But when we get 5, 6, and I'm like, dude, I've done reached out to 4 different managers.
Do you want to fight?
5 different opponents, and you don't like none of them, and all of them have the same or less record?
Okay, hey, you tell me who do you want to fight, and we'll put that kid in there against you.
And it's simple to say that, but then what if that other guy doesn't want to fight? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it just like goes both ways. I agree, like, fighters need to fight, but yes, we do need to strategize. But there's a point where it's also like, look, man, I'm telling you this is a good fight. If I'm your coach, it's like, I'm telling you this is a good fight. You need to trust me. You know what I mean? Because at some point, you also have to believe in yourself. You know what I think is easier to have a fighter that believes in himself and then let me guide you.
Right.
Like, because I just need you to believe that I don't give a fuck who I put in front of you.
But at the same time, it's your job to not let this dude say, oh, dude, I'll fight anybody and take a stupid-ass fight.
Job.
100%.
You need to have the attitude of a fighter like, I'm hungry, I'm a dog. It doesn't matter if you put a fucking Chihuahua or you put a pit bull in front of me. I'm going to tear it up.
That's 100%. Where a promoter like Eric, I think, comes in handy because you're not going to, like, make a match that makes no sense at all.
No, not at all.
You're a fighter. You're a student of the game. You know all these things. You put together like the best possible matches. You're not just going to throw some bullshit.
Well, at the same time, I want to see something that's going to benefit.
You're not just going to feed somebody to.
It needs to be entertaining.
A killer.
It's got to be entertaining. It's got to benefit both sides of the party.
Exactly.
It's got to benefit. So you get an old.
You as a promoter. That's where Fury has the advantage with you as a promoter because he's a fighter. Yeah. Exactly. Not a lot of people know that.
He's fighter.
He doesn't talk about it a lot, but he's a fighter.
He's a real fighter, and he trained a lot. He took a lot of punches from me. So, like, I mean, you know what I mean?
Hey, so we got brick hands and we got pillow hands. Woo! So we had
these sound effects brought to you by Howlerhead Whiskey.
Howlerhead,
we
the
got
best.
that monkey
Pour me
spirit
up a
in
little
us.
bit more.
The
Right,
best.
the same you did.
Hey, what do you
It's
think
good
about
like
the
that.
Howler while we're talking
You like
about
Howler?
It's good, man. I like it.
Have you had it before? Or is this your
I've had
first
it
go-round?
before.
He's
One
had
of
it
my
with
worst
me.
hangovers I've ever had.
Yeah, man, but that's
I finished the whole bottle almost by myself.
But
though.
yeah, exactly. When you put
That
a whole
was-
bottle
that was
away,
not
that's to
smart.
be expected. But yeah,
Yeah.
man, whenever they were telling, it's like banana flavored whiskey. And initially, I was hesitant. I'm like, banana flavored whiskey,
Dude,
man.
it's good.
I want my whiskey to taste like whiskey. But man, it's smooth.
Dude,
it's
I hate-
delicious.
It is very smooth.
The banana isn't like overwhelming. It makes it a little smoother.
I hate when my whiskey tastes like whiskey.
No, this is
You
this.
know.
The thing
to
about
each their
this
own.
is
To each their own.
because
Hey,
it's so smooth. You gotta be careful.
hey, Wayne caught whiskey tasted like whiskey when we had a night out with Mickey One More, and he had one
Oh,
too many.
Yeah, we're going there.
Jamesons.
Yeah,
Oh,
I got Mickey one more. But see what Eric fails to tell everybody.
It happened, huh?
Yeah. Oh,
Ooh.
yeah, it definitely happened.
He's gonna blame it on one extra shot.
Yes,
I think we've all been
Hey,
there.
I did two at a time. Okay, so we did.
Mickey
We
one
done
more.
like
Uno
we had-
mas.
We had done like three. Yeah, uno mas, of course. And
Let's do one more.
I'm always gonna say yes to that.
I said
but
no.
Eric dumped his shot in
I say
mine.
no too.
I say no.
Eric dumped his shot in mine. So like one of those, I did like two at a time, and that was about where it went downhill, man. I was like looking through my messages, and I texted Anita. I was like, babe, help, I need you. And that was about when it was, whenever Eric dumped that extra shot. I started feling it, and then the rest of the night's a blur.
How many times have we been Mickey One More?
Far. We've been
Hey,
too
and
many
it was an
times.
We've been
honor.
Mickey One More
And I
probably
will
Too
say,
many times.
Mexico,
Now that my truck
Jamaica.
is safe,
Sawgrass. We got kicked out of Sawgrass.
Yeah.
Like
Damn
they-
it.
Sawgrass.
That's way better than
Sawgrass
mine.
manager
That's way better than
is
mine.
Eric and Mick
No,
and
we got
myself
kicked out
at
of
the
Hooters.
table. And we
Oh,
got
we
kicked
got
out
kicked out
of
of
Remember at
Sawgrass, too.
Sawgrass they come and they tell us.
everybody's been kicked out of Hooters.
Dude, they literally come and tell us at Sawgrass. We're like,
is
one
a
more.
family.
He's like, this is a family establishment. We're like, what?
Fuck you.
I was like, dude, we just ate porterhouse.
I'm saying?
We just had porterhouse steaks. We got a $300 tab.
This
and
is
you're
a
kicking
family
us out?
establishment, gentlemen. We can't serve y'all anymore.
Do you know what our tab would be if you didn't kick us out? Do you know what the tips would be if you didn't kick us out?
We literally walked into Hooters, sat at the bar, got
They said
cut off
leave.
right away.
Oh, wow.
And then we walked to Chili's.
Chili's.
Kudos to Chili's, man.
Oh,
They
shit.
took us in.
Hey, they
We
don't.
needed a
They're not a
home and
sponsor.
Chili's gave us a
They're
spot
not
to
a
sit.
Chili's is not a
gave us
sponsor.
a home for about 8 hours.
They sure did.
Wow. Y'all started in the afternoon then.
It's
We
like
had lunch.
lunchtime.
We had lunch at 12. and
Wow.
We had
That's
lunch
a long
at 12
time to spend
and,
at Chili's.
That's
Eight.
original.
And
OG
and we
style.
were out of Chili's by about 11 p.m.
They made a movie about you guys.
It was
I
a
think.
long night.
Is it hungover?
Those are the best
Oh,
times.
man.
Yeah.
I felt great the next day.
Mick's the only guy I know that he'll see somebody pass on the floor, raise your head, and be like, one more!
Hey,
One more!
No, he won't.
And I'll be like,
One
yeah,
more.
let's go.
Wayne's the guy who's laying on the floor faking.
I was like checking my
Hold my
pocket for my
head.
keys, man. Eric had
holding
got
your
my
head
keys,
real gentle and
thankfully.
shit.
I had took Wayne's keys.
Thankfully.
I had fucking stole his wallet.
Man,
You have some money in there?
where did all those charges at the strip club come from? I know they weren't from me.
I gave him
Damn it,
I gave him to
Eric.
Diego. Gave the wallet to Diego.
Diego went on a spree.
He saw the rubbing tug. Said
It was
rubbing
like,
tug.
like little hands. What was it? What is
Rub
that?
and tug.
Little hands
You ever
rubbing
switch
tug.
it up and get a tug and rub?
Tug,
Hey,
rub.
every once in a while you
Diego
gotta switch
said,
it up a
maybe
little
I
bit.
have, maybe I haven't. I don't know. Maybe I
Hey,
did,
yeah,
maybe I
Everybody loves a
didn't.
rub and tug,
You
but
hear
a
it?
tug
My,
and
my
rub
lawyer
goes a
said
long
not
way.
to plead the fifth. I'm sorry.
Hey.
See, what did Giannis say when he was here? He will neither not confirm or
Yeah.
deny.
Yeah.
What did you say? He wants to have a taste test?
Yeah, that's what he
Forget
wants to do.
about
He
it.
wants to do his taste test, but he pitched it like with alcohol. He wanted to do different flavors of alcohol, but I think
Wayne's think he's gonna taste something. Be like, that's an Asian.
yeah, he wants like,
That's
all right.
Asian.
So is it a white girl, a black girl, or an Asian?
That's Asian.
That's it. Oh, this was black for sure.
I recognize Asian right away.
Whoa! Yeah, I know that kind of torque,
Diego's
and that kind of
so good.
speed. With that kind of torque and that kind of speed, that's got to be a black chick. Gotta
Oh.
be.
Diego's so good, he'll have a taste test and tell you Vietnam, northern. You know what I mean? Northern Vietnam.
The eastern village of.
Yeah, dude, like, he
Yeah,
knows
yeah.
his shit.
Oh, I know
The
exactly
Eastern Village
what.
of fill in the blank.
I know exactly what fucking massage parlor this was from.
Yeah.
He's like, Cammy, is that you?
This is over off of Harwin. I think I met you on Harwin, didn't I?
What is that? I don't know.
Poor Diego. Hey, you're gonna listen. When the fucking Galveston PD fires you, I got you.
All right.
We got you. You got a job for Diego?
Fuck it, we got him.
We'll figure it out. If they catch you in those massage places, we got you. We got you covered. And so now,
Diego's like, I'm HPD. I'm good, man. Hey. No thanks, guys. Thanks, but no thanks, guys.
What are you up to nowadays? Now that you're not fighting, you got your son in the mix,
Yeah. So
and he's a fucking savage.
he's a stud, man.
He's a stud.
and he's like really falling into his own. So he goes, I was the beast. He's the unit. You know, he wanted his own. You know what I mean? His own. He's making his own name. You know what I mean? So
You let him pick out his own nickname, didn't you?
So you know, it's funny.
You can always tell who picks out the nicknames.
You know who actually picked out that name was Morano.
Okay.
And it was accidental.
Right.
He fought for his first fight was for you, Fury. We brought back to the arena.
All of his fights have
at
been
the
for us,
arena.
right?
Yeah. So we did the arena, and then Alice goes,
That was a
he
great
goes,
show.
man, he's like, Lester passed down the good G. You know, I have like a 6-pack and I'm super swole. I don't know if y'all know that, but in case y'all didn't. But anyways, he's like, Lester passed down the good genes to his son. He's like, he looks like a specimen, like a unit. And he heard that like later on the
he kept
commentator,
it.
and
He
he's like,
wanted that.
he liked it.
That's
And so
awesome.
and he also remembered, he's like, hey, your friend said I look more ripped than you. I was like, he didn't say rip. He just said I passed down the genes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's got Lester Jr.'s got an Instagram.
He's got Instagram.
What's his Instagram?
Lester Batres 23.
For people who don't know, Lester Jr. is a good-looking kid, super respectable, and he's fucking talented.
Yeah, he's
And
a quiet savage.
Like I start wondering where'd this kid get those genes from. I know he didn't get them from his fucking
I
dad.
know, right? And like the quiet humility and all that. I mean, we know it didn't come from him.
We know he got his monastery from me, but like, you know,
So what? Like when you talk to Junior, what are his plans? He wants to be in the UFC.
he wants to be in the UFC. That's one of his plans.
He's 19.
He's 19.
19
I mean,
years old.
look at it. 19.
and on the brink of
Jesus.
making his pro debut.
He's 19.
Yeah.
At 19 years old, he's had 5 MMA fights, a Muay Thai fight. He had basically 3 fights in Mexico already under his belt. He's already been.
So that's
he went-
8 MMA fights, if you count the Mexico ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8. He lost one, a tough decision. I thought it was a very close fight. It easily could have went to Lester.
was close.
But it went to the other guy. No problem. He's 19 years
Granted,
old.
the other guy who
He's y'all's champ.
and he's tough as fuck and he's on a tear. And he just had that tough ass fight with Donovan Manuel that I didn't think he was going to make it look like that.
Yeah, he made it easy. But Junior and him, when they had
And
a
they
good
went 3
war.
rounds.
They had a good war.
Yeah.
But anyways, that loss was like the best thing because he was like,
I don't want to feel that again.
yeah, you know, that's one thing. Like, you know, to be a great fighter, you got to be cocky. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And cockiness means like you got to believe in yourself. And so, you know, there's some things that loss taught him that we got back in the gym and we started working harder than ever. You know, working things that just we didn't think he needed to or he didn't think he needed to. And now he realized like, okay, I do. And you see it. His striking. The thing about him, everybody thinks he's a wrestler, but kid's a wrestler. He taps out black belts. I mean, he's legitimately submitted me. He fought Heinen. No disrespect to Heinen, but that was a black belt.
Heinen's
He had a
tough
good
too.
scrap.
Yeah.
Tough guy. He trains with like us, like Ray Bell, Colton, a bunch of black belts. He gives all the black belts. Like
So there's not going to be a jiu-jitsu guy that can give him a
it's
look
gonna
that
be-
he hasn't
It's
seen.
gonna be tough.
Okay. It's going to have to
Wrestling,
be somebody
he's
super.
a better wrestler than me. He's a better wrestler than most of us in the room. Kickboxing, most people have not seen his kickboxing, but the kid can fucking strike. You know what I mean?
He
to
just
swat me
had a
all the
Muay Thai
time.
fight and
He
won.
just had a Muay Thai fight, yeah. Won that. And it was just to get out of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like at 19 years old, the experience level he has is more than most pros. I mean, he's had to already travel to another country and fight.
Right.
We're traveling
That's
in
a-
February 13th, which you turned us on to that. He's representing Team USA because he won the Pan Ams, 3 fights in 3 days. So we're doing welterweight, so we don't have to cut weight so many days. He took first place, wiped out everybody out there. So automatically he represents Team USA for February. That's going to be in Serbia. 5 fights in 5 days. 19 years old, we already how many 19-year-old amateurs have been to the UFC PI and had a camp? Joe Daddy Stevenson was running. Forrest Griffin was running. I had to teach a part of it. But some high-level coaches.
Not many, if any.
Not many.
Right.
And the UFC PI, like Brandon Moreno was there. Zhang Li was there. All the kid that just won from IMMF, Raul Rosas.
Yep.
Man, he is killing the R's right there.
Yeah.
He's rolling the fuck out of those R's.
Raul
There you go.
Rosas.
That kid's tough.
Yeah,
That
but I'm
kid-
saying like at 19 years old to get to like experience and see all that, dude, I didn't get to do that till 30 something years old. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Like the tide has kind of changed because when I got into MMA, I was 27.
Yes, like my first fight was like about 26, 27
I was
years
29.
old, you know. So that's old.
Yeah.
Do you think
For
about
sure.
to do your
In-
first
in the fight
amateur
game,
fight?
unfortunately,
that's
yeah.
old.
Yeah, that's old in the fight game.
Yeah.
I mean, for
We young, baby.
For everything else,
you
it's
know
not
what I'm
old.
saying?
Forever young.
Prime.
Eric Garcia and
Lester.
Lester, the
you
master.
want me to play that
Batres.
song right now?
Let's do it. We'll take a
But
Diego's throwing me off. He's over here
but you
doing
got
social media.
guys that are starting out at 17, 18, even younger. Like my son started training jiu-jitsu at 5 years old.
same with Junior.
I didn't fucking know what jiu-jitsu was at 5
He was a
years
black
old.
belt at 9
Under Eric Garcia.
under Eric Garcia.
I gave him a fucking black belt. At
Merry
9 years
Christmas,
old.
son.
Give him that black belt, that whooping.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Nah, man.
It was an empty box under the tree. And
So,
he was
like,
a black
talking
belt.
about that goes back to, like, I was saying, I believe we're OGs. I'm not going to say we're tougher than these young guys, but there was a lot of toughness. Like, that was, like, what we knew. What we lacked in skill and knowledge or, like, being able to, like, find knowledge because the knowledge wasn't everywhere like now.
Yeah.
We made up was just pure just grit, being some tough fucking dudes. Now,
There wasn't a pussy in the room
there
when we would
wasn't.
spar.
Because if
I
not, they
couldn't.
wouldn't survive. They would be
A
gone.
bunch of
Yeah.
fucking dudes.
Dude,
man.
straight up.
Get the
Be-
fuck out of here.
You know how many guys we would run off? That's how it was. It was like, all right, this guy just came in. we
Or
beat
you
his ass.
knew when we would have the next session and the dude didn't come back. Oh, we fucked him
Yeah,
up.
he's done. But
He's
that was
done.
kind of the mentality back then. Somebody walks in, you green light him. If he comes back, then we yellow light him.
So that's how it works in the pro wrestling business too, man. Like if a guy shows up, hey, I want to be a wrestler. It's like, all right, we'll put you in there. Like break his ankle or something, man.
Yeah.
Hey, 6 weeks later, if you come back, okay, yeah, he really wants it.
You're one of the guys.
Yeah, bingo.
Come back on crutches. I'm here. Here I am.
Hey,
For
you
the
get
most
that
part, they
respect.
don't though. For the
Yeah,
most part, they
no,
don't.
they don't.
That's how you weed out
Nobody-
who really wants it.
Nobody likes to be uncomfortable. Let's admit it.
Nah.
You know, there's something wrong, or we have something wired differently to want to show up
back.
every day and get punched in the fucking face. And
And even
it's
it
different.
doesn't matter how
Yeah.
good you are. There's always somebody that
That's
kicks
gonna
your
protect you
ass,
out.
and then you still want to come back, and you're like, I want to go with you again.
And
Like
I-
It gives
that's
you a different level of
mental.
respect for that guy, also.
Yeah. And also, if I know if I get the best out of somebody and they keep coming back, and then eventually I'm like, oh shit, now he's starting to get
He's
the
learning.
best or
This kid's
whatever.
learning.
You respect that. You know what I
Word.
mean? It's simple, man. Like, I'm the type of guy that's like, I'm not trying to convince you want to fight. I'm trying to convince you the opposite, that you don't want to
I'm trying to convince you that I want to fight.
Yeah, like, it's just like that. Like, don't tell me you want to fight because I'm going to show you don't want to fight.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you still keep coming, now you convince me. And that's like
Yeah.
when I give you most people, I
They've
seem
earned
like
your
a
they've
dick.
earned your respect at that point.
Pretty
because
much.
you don't want to invest in somebody that's not going to take
That's
advantage
it.
of them.
I mean, I got
100%.
into that point to where I'm like, all right, I very much don't mess with everybody until they show me something. Because, man, like, time is valuable. And at first, I was like, I'll give anybody and everybody my time. And I realized not everybody deserves your time. It's just really that simple.
100%.
And there's some people that deserve it, but you have to prove to me. Because I'm going to prove to you the opposite. You prove to me, now I'm like, all right, now I'm 100% invested in you. You know, that's the fight game.
So it makes you a great coach.
I'm trying to be a great coach. But what I was saying with the young guys nowadays, man, McGregor did a great thing for MMA as far as, like, he brought the money in.
Yeah.
Right? He taught people that they have to market themselves. The problem is there's the McGregor effect where you got a guy that's like one fight amateur and they're already walking around in a fucking suit. And I'm like, you better fucking win. And then they lose.
Oh,
and it's
that's
like,
what I have to do. I have to
I'm
act
like-
like that to make it. Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like, you're wasting your energy trying to be a star when you ain't shit yet. Prove yourself first.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you wear a suit and you come in looking fly and walking around fly and you got one fight and you get your ass kicked, you didn't get my respect.
Just
Now I'm
because you
making
can
fun of
afford a suit doesn't
I'm
mean
gonna
you
be
can
honest with
fight.
you. I'm going
Yeah.
to make fun of you. I'm like, you ain't a fucking fighter. You know what I mean? Like, fight, win,
And then talk shit.
Then do the marketing. Especially in the amateur days. I feel an amateur that's trying to overly, like, come on, you're a fucking amateur.
They're trying to
No
overcompensate.
disrespect.
Yeah, this is where we learn.
No disrespect. This is where you come in wearing your fucking sweats and win. I'm going to respect you more than the guy wearing a fucking $1,000 suit.
We're in the
Miss
suit that says
weight.
fuck you.
Miss weight.
Missed weight, lost.
Miss
Come here,
weight.
what the fuck are
Hey,
you
fuck
doing?
you, fight me anyway.
At the same time, like that has to at some point fall on the promoters too to keep allowing a guy like that to come in. Are you desperate for fighters, or are you gonna stand together and be like, okay, well, we're not gonna fuck with this guy no more?
Yeah, it's a fine line. I mean, I think it's a fine line. Like, right, we talked about cocky. We talked about believing in yourself. They're two different things. You can believe in yourself and seem cocky to somebody that doesn't understand what your belief means.
There's being confident in your ability, and then there's like overcompensating for your lack of ability. There's a fine line there.
That's what I meant to say. Like that was perfect. So I feel people are overcompensating. Too many of these young guys overcompensate and hype themselves up, but they ain't shit yet.
Right.
And they go out and fight and they show they ain't shit. You know what I mean? Like the true marketing really doesn't come to like almost that pro. When it's like, okay.
Once you've won a few pro fights.
Yeah, hopefully, if you're marketing yourself, you've got something to back it up, like some kind of talent, some kind of record, some kind of something. I mean, if you come out of the gate 0-0 and you're talking shit and wearing a suit.
You're wasting your time. You're wasting your train of thought on looking cool versus actually being cool. You know, if that makes sense. Because when you win, you don't have to be the coolest guy. If you win, you're getting all the pussy. You're getting it all.
All of it.
All of it.
Even the one you don't want. It's coming.
Yeah.
Like, it's guaranteed. You win a fight.
And the only guaranteed one is the one you don't want.
Yeah. That one is showing up for sure. 100%. The one you don't want is showing up.
No, all you get is the one you don't want.
Yeah.
That's what everybody thinks. They're like, man, I'm going to get all the pussy when I win this fight. No.
And then she shows up.
And that's the one you better go with.
Take it or leave it.
Or you go with Angela or Pamela.
Oh. Rub-a-dub-dub.
Diego, tell us about that. No, not right now. Not right now. So what are your plans for Junior? Like, how is he on a fast track to try and get to the UFC, or you feel like, well, we got a few years?
I don't think we'll need a few years, to be honest with you.
So if they call, you're going?
It's all on a fight-to-fight basis, right? So we're going to do this thing. It's going to be tough competition, man. There's going to be 100%. Like Kazakhstan, Japan, China, the Mexico, the Central Americas, South America, but there's going to be a lot of countries. We signed him up for the senior, meaning like not the like 18 to 20-year-olds. Like he's doing the 20 to 30 because that's what he's been fighting in Fury. Yeah. We feel that he's been fighting some tough guys. While we're going to go back. Our goal is not to go back, it's to step forward. But Junior's going to go out there and win first out there. And after we do that, when we talked about it, our game plan is to go pro. Probably, he'll be coming back first. Maybe April. We'll just play it by ear. But we'll be to go pro. And then
sometime in early 2023, you're looking to go pro.
So
with Junior.
Let's just call it, early 2023, go pro. And then even that, evaluate fight-to-fight basis, man. Like, we're big on, like, we go, we look. Like, I tell them, hey, look at everything. Watch the fight once, see what you did good. Now watch the fight again, see everything you did bad. Now let's talk about it and let's fix it. You know what I mean? Yes. So we focus more on the bad than the good. Give them that good for like a couple of days. Like hype you did good.
Of course,
let's get back to reality. This is
what we need to work on.
This is what we need to fix, and we go back to the drawing board. So it's not that it's a fast track to make it to UFC. Being 19, I can see him being in there by 21, 22.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Just the reality of
he's got time on his side,
and it's all on him. It's like I said, as long as this is your, I really feel that. And it's not just because it's my son. I feel I've been around for a while. He has the talent to make it.
He does.
As long as he continues to want it. This is something that's been, I never pushed him to fight. I pushed him to train.
Whatever. That's your retirement plan. I already know.
Now, my whole goal with my kids is just for them not to get bullied.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I know.
That's how it started.
100%. And then because of me, I guess
that's why I've got my kid in jiu-jitsu.
He just don't want him to get bullied. And then he decided he wanted to fight. So we're like, cool. Even to this day, I'm like, look, if you decide you don't want to fight, I'm cool with it, man.
So
I got your back.
Same thing with my kid. Hey, man, if you don't want to, you say the word and you're done.
Much less my heart knows coaching, like, got him off with training for like 2 years because I was a dick. Before I was a decent coach, I was, I guess, a bad coach.
A dick.
Yeah, I was a dick. I was
like
Rich. I was a Richard
like
Burmaster.
Like Rich Burmaster.
And that's one thing, like being a parent and his head coach and being his dad, that's a hard line. That's a hard balance.
I can imagine, man.
And so we've got to talk about it because, like, in the training room, I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm like, hey, you're doing this. I'm not just saying to him, to anybody. I'll tell coach is a pro and he's a black belt. We're like almost, you can say we're the same.
Yeah.
But, like, when I tell him something, I don't like, hey, coach. Like, I'm like, hey, you're dropping your hands. Like, hey, dude, you need to throw some punches, man. Come on. You need to do this, do that, whatever. And I would do that with Junior, but Junior would take it Dad's talking
Personally.
to me like this.
Yeah, he would take
That's
it
how he
personally.
used to
He
take it?
used to.
Okay.
And we had to sit down and talk, and it took maturity on his end and maturity on my end to also learn to understand him better. And it was, I had to tell him, like, look, son, it's not that I'm talking to you raw. You just state that because I'm your dad.
Exactly.
I'm your coach. When we're in this room, I'm not your dad. I'm your coach. If you're getting your ass kicked, that's on you to fucking do what you got to do. But
I can't
gonna
save
talk
you.
to you like I talked to Eric, like I talked to Wayne. I'm gonna talk to you the same. My delivery is gonna be the same.
Right.
You need to learn that I'm not your dad in here. I'm your coach. And as soon as we're done, I'm your dad again. You know what I mean?
Boom.
And so it honestly it took him to mature, and it also took me to be patient. You know what I mean? And then we've made it work. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's awesome.
But for a long time, there was a bit where we were. I think we talked about it. Where I was like, man, it's hard. Like I'd have to tell. Like let's say Eric was in the room, I'd be like, you tell him this because he wasn't going to take it from me.
This is hitting so hard to me right now because, dude, I could tell, like, my son, Ashton, he's 14.
But if
I could tell
Torres tells him it's
all
something
day.
different.
I could tell him all this stuff all day. Like, you have to do this. You can't do that all day. But, dude, Torres says it and, like,
He does it.
boom, 20 seconds. Oh, yeah, I get it.
Have you ever had like I've had Junior do this, right? And I'm sure we all have sons that train. And it's like, I'll be like, hey, man, you're dropping your hands or this or that. Or like, hey, when you're throwing your jab, you're doing this.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, nuh-uh. And then next thing you know, somebody else that doesn't even have my experience, but, you know, closer to their age, this is back then, would be like,
Right.
oh, man, so-and-so told me that I'm doing this and I need to do this. And I'm like, that's cool as long as the message got delivered.
As
You know
long
what
as-
I'm
as
saying?
long as you got it, yeah.
As long as you got it. But, you know, it happens, man. It's a fight. It's one of the hardest balances to be a father-coach.
I can imagine, man.
Extremely hard.
Yeah, dude. At Battleground, a couple of events back, dude, Ashton lost a match, and you know it was pretty heavily the other way. And I was like trying to tell him, like, hey, man, you know, you did this. You got to be more aggressive. Blah, blah. Dad, just leave me alone right now, Dad. I just need a minute, Dad. Anyway, Torres, Mike comes over. He's like, hey, man, let me talk to him for a minute. He goes over, and Ashton comes back. He's like, all right, I'm ready now. It's like, man, fuck you, kid. I know he didn't say anything that I didn't say.
He said everything the same.
Yeah, pretty
He's
much.
a different person.
Pretty much. He just needs to get out of his own
Yeah,
head.
it's that tough love, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a beautiful balance, but it's a balance that very easily can get broken. You can easily go one way. One thing I learned was like, don't talk about it right there and then, because their emotions are high. You know, it's better to like even like walking off the mat and talking about it. He's not going to listen to you.
Right.
At this point, he's like in a
100%.
mental block.
Yep.
If you're having that conversation, it's because he probably lost.
He's in
Right.
that moment. He's got to feel that.
Yeah, he's got to feel it. And so, like, it's always best to maybe wait. Like, when Junior did wrestling, we knew we probably had, like, 45 minutes for the next match. So we'd wait, like, I'd wait, like, 5-10 minutes, but obviously couldn't wait till the next day because he had multiple matches that day.
Right.
But you don't want them to walk off the mat and then be like, you did this, you did that. Because to them, even though you're talking,
Right.
all he's hearing
you got to
is, like,
give him that time for sure.
Yeah.
that's it.
You have to give him that
You know,
time to
a
feel like,
breather. A
yeah,
breather.
I'm nowhere near your level.
Yeah.
But that's what I try to do with my kid as well. Like, hey, dude, shit happens. All right, boom, boom, boom. Let's feel it.
Wayne's like, why didn't you pull the triangle?
What the fuck? Why'd you pull guard?
Yeah.
Dude, but you see so many,
No, no.
many dads, and like I'll say it like freely because I was guilty of that too. You know, back then I was
Yeah.
more of a, I didn't understand coaching as much, right? And especially working with my son. So like, yeah, there was times he'd get off a mat and I'd be like, "What the fuck, dude?" And this is how I talk. Like, you know, this is how I talk. And
Right.
so honestly, you're in a bad state of mind, and so he would take it like
Personally.
like fuck, like, you know, give me a sec, and I'm like.
Fuck you, Dad.
Yeah, pretty much. That's
Yeah.
pretty much all you're going to get from there. You know what I mean? So
Right.
advice is always give them a second to breathe. Start off with something positive, and then throw in what you got to throw in. You know what I mean?
Bang.
So looking at, he's April, maybe he'd be
Yeah,
turning
so
pro.
April will be the goal to go pro then. And honestly, the goal is
Who do you wanna
people
call
have said
out?
that there's not, I mean, like,
I'm
honestly,
just fucking with you, Lester.
That was going to be my not necessarily my next question, but when you look at Fury FC and you look at the lightweight division, is there anybody that
There's a-
stands out? Not to fight your son, but just like talent wise.
honestly, knowing what this kid can do, and as long as he can perform the way I know he can perform, excuse me, I even feel that the pro division in the lightweight division on Fury, most of those guys, you know, and some feelings will get hurt, but he'll run through a lot of them.
So we
Even
just
now.
literally thinking we have Colton's a 55er on
Colton's a 55.
We got Michael Murphy.
Michael Murphy.
We've got Santiago Guzman.
Yeah.
We got Cody Steele.
Got a lot of war guys. You're listening to a lot of war guys right there.
We have Sam Kilmer.
Yeah.
Now a lot of these guys have more fights. So
obviously, I mean,
yeah. Honestly, those would not be.
That's not going to be his fight coming out of the gate.
He would be fighting a guy with one or two fights.
But that's where he's looking to go, and that's going to be the competition whenever he gets there.
So depending at what point, rather, he's strong as fuck. So like he's able to, with his experience and strength that he does have, right? He can get by with a lot, but we're seeing what his body's going to do.
Right.
We're seeing if his body's going to either take on some size. Or if it's not, then we might eventually drop to 145, closer to the pro. Like, not the first couple pro fights. We want to let his body develop. We're not trying to let any, like, weight cuts injure his growth.
How much weight does he cut to make 55?
Honestly, now that he's strict, he's gotten good. Like, he'll get to, like, 65, 63 walking around. But he can, right now he's probably, like, 72. Okay. If he lets himself go, he'll hit 85.
Yeah.
But, like, he's changed his mentality where it's, like, now it's like a 24/7, 365.
So hence the reason why
165, 170.
When he does these IMMAF,
he can do 170.
He's doing welterweight, right?
Yeah, because we don't want to make 155 5 days in a row. Cut 7-8 pounds 5 days. Like,
are they doing those
hard.
Are they weighing in the day before?
They weigh in the morning.
So the same day.
So it's like he's used to is because of wrestling.
Right.
You know, he has to weigh in, and then you have about 2 hours.
He don't even have to cut really.
He's gonna maybe. Honestly, he'll probably get to like 67 before we leave.
That way he can eat.
That way he can have even breakfast that day and go jump on the scale.
And then eat what? How much time do they have after they weigh?
Depends on what fight number. So like in Mexico, it was probably like about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. But over there at the Worlds, they're gonna have 5 cages running at the same time.
Oh damn!
So could be an hour, could be 3. In Mexico, they had 1. So it was basically 1. But here's going to be 5. So that means they're going to have a shit.
They're going to be running.
Yeah, they're going to be running.
For them to have 5 cages, obviously they got a shit ton of fighters.
It's a lot of countries.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? It's worlds. It's a shitload of countries out there. So
such a great experience.
Team USA, we're going to take first. And then honestly, we got to meet other guys like
I saw Christian Ammons was out there. He's a 35er. He used to be Andrew Craig's guy. He's my 135 champ.
Yeah. He did good. He had to fight for the spot. And when we're in Vegas, because he wasn't on the team yet, he won the spot.
Okay,
yeah, he took the spot.
Yeah,
He was pretty good. He was a little flashy. He tried to go for some flashy stuff, which Forrest told him. Forrest told him, pulled him on the side and was like, "Hey man, like focus on winning before all that flashy stuff." But the kid was good. There's some guys on the team from California. I think they fought for you in Cali. A couple of his guys, Chad. I forgot his last name. Savage. He was in the WEC. He has a school called California Fight Something team out there, man. They got like 3 guys on the California team. All studs, all can wrestle. Like, there's some studs on this fucking squad. You know what I mean? Most of the squad for the USA team can wrestle and strike, which is what you're going to need to go out there to the Worlds and win. If you're fighting Dagestan and those countries, like, if you can't wrestle, you're not gonna do shit, you know? But he might do 45 in pro. But not the first couple.
So Arlton Audrey's going to 45. So his next amateur fight is at 45. And then he's going to make his pro debut with us at 45.
We're going to see more like around mid 3-5 fights into pro. That's when we're going to decide.
So he's going to pro debut at 55.
Yeah.
And then possibly go down.
We're just going to let him see what his body naturally does. If his body's naturally, because he's training so much, stays like at 60, 63, then we'll go 45. If he gets a little older and his body puts on more muscle and he's 75, 80, then we'll stay 55.
And back in the day, when we were fighting, it was almost always like local guy versus local guy.
Pretty much.
But now we have the ability to be bringing these guys in from out of town. So if y'all want to cross train, like you say, y'all cross train a little bit. Y'all probably won't end up fighting a local guy anyway.
Yeah, we cross train with like 2 gyms. Mostly it's Main Street and 4 Ounce. You know, I've always had a deep and heritage. I mean, I try to.
So ACS, you're like, fuck ACS, right?
Nah, Drew's my boy, man. Drew's my boy. I like Drew. Drew's my boy, man. He's a good guy. Yeah, it's just they're so far. It's
Yeah,
not very
he was a
convenient for us.
former guest on the show.
Yeah.
Also
Before me, huh?
He got on here
Yeah,
before
of
you
course.
did. Yeah.
Of course.
So when you're not in the gym training your son, doing any stuff like that,
God damn,
Oh, Diego. On the J's. Diego
like-
on the J's.
I was watching him do
God,
that. I'm
there's
like,
a
is he
napkin right
trying
there,
to
look.
pour
Diego.
that out? Like,
There's a napkin.
now he's gonna drink that out of his
did you
hand.
see that?
He's gonna
I hope
lick
we
it.
got that on
You gotta
camera.
lick it.
Now he's gonna lick
before
it like
you
it's
kick
an
it.
Asian at the spa.
Oh, my God.
Damn.
Damn, Diego.
I
ever
was
since
like
gave you
watching
some
that
knowledge, you've been
unfold. I'm
tripping,
like,
Diego.
God damn it,
why is
Diego.
Diego pouring that
Monkey
out? But then
noises.
he stopped like, oh, that's an accident. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
where's the monkey sound effect?
Pops,
right?
give us a woo.
When you're not
Pops
in the
ain't
gym,
doing that. Pops like, no.
when you're not
I'm
in the
on
gym,
show.
you're not training junior. What else you got going on nowadays?
Working. Pretty much workers. I mean, I work like 7 days a week. You know, whether it's
Bears or
So La Bears is one of my side hustles. You know what I mean? I do good there.
cleans up. LeBear's is the male strip club
I clean up in there.
down off of what is that, Richmond or Westheimer?
We're off of Richmond.
Okay, see, I knew you would know.
We're off of Richmond. Yeah, you exit Fondren, hit Richmond, make a left. We're right there.
Richmond making left.
No, I mean we just work. So hey, I'm gonna give a shout out. So
I
yeah,
used to
so
eat at the restaurant next to there. I kind of know where it is. You know, I auditioned, but I got rejected. They're like, no.
tell him, drop my name in
sure
there.
you
I tried to. Like, no,
Drop my name.
Lester's got it.
Lester only knows because
Lester got it under
he
control.
goes in there and sits in the crowd. That's the only
Lester's
reason
out there
Lester
making it
knows.
rain. He's got the money gun.
Lester's out there making it rain at LeBear's. He ain't on stage. He's on the
Yeah.
opposite side of the stage.
That's why
Damn.
he says he does
That's
well.
cold.
He cleans up.
Hey, that's
the
cold.
dancers
Cleans
know
up
where
well.
the money is. They know
They
where the
clean
payday
him
is,
up.
right?
They clean me up. I leave there broke. Now, what I do in my spare time. So,
You're
so,
managing fighters now.
So yeah, I started doing that. I mean, it's a process. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's a
Yep.
process. It's like anything. It takes time to build, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I'm working on. I'm hoping like organizations like Fury could probably help me out. You know what I mean? And a couple of other ones.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So hopefully Fury can get on board and help me out a little bit more. But yeah, that's what we do. I also work. So I do own a venue. So I work at Batres Grand Venue.
Beautiful place.
If anybody's looking for events, right?
What's the name of that place again?
Batres Grand Venue.
Batres Grand Venue.
Yes.
Where's that?
Beautiful.
It's actually like 5 minutes from here. It's,
Okay, I know, but they don't know where DNA Studios is, so give us the address.
It's 14801 Vera Drive. We're in Humble.
Okay,
Yeah, we're out here in Humble. So we do that.
I want to check it out sometime.
We stay pretty busy, and so there's a lot of work that goes. It's like a
What's
show.
the capacity? How many people can it
It's
hold?
250 people.
Bang! So
Yeah.
like, if you got like a wedding reception
Wedding,
or a
15s,
quinceañera or a bar mitzvah or whatever,
A lot of that. We
Yeah.
do mostly 15s. Ends up being 15s and weddings is kind of like the niche, but we do other things. Like right now is the holidays, so we got a lot of different company parties going on and stuff like that. So
The place is awesome. If you've
hey,
never
knowing
seen it,
Lester like I know Lester, I'm sure it's
beautiful,
top notch
notch.
quality, man. He's first class
100%.
all the way.
Yeah,
It's
good
not some
service
bullshit
and
flea
everything.
market venue for your
Nah.
birthday party or whatever.
Nah, it's fucking beautiful.
yeah, we take pride in what we do. I mean, we built it from the ground up, you know.
Yep.
So like, we take a lot of pride as far as
In
like,
your own vision.
Yeah, we literally built it. There was nothing there, and we just hard work, dedication. We got it up, you know.
So you're not hosting like smokers in the parking lot, right?
No, but we could. Hey, we could.
We could.
I'm not against it, for it. Not against it, for it. So yeah, I do that. Also, I stopped
coaching,
running. I
obviously.
coaching. I stopped running the trucking company. So I also have a company, Beast Freight Logistics. My brother runs it mostly now. I just kind of, I guess you could say, kind of consult, and
Yeah.
stuff like that when he needs it. But so between those two things and the gym, man, like it's hectic.
That's awesome,
got
man.
a
Family
little
tradition.
baby.
I got a baby. I got a
How old
she's
is
a
she
year
now?
and 3 months. Princess
Golly, man.
Giselle Camila. So
Beautiful.
We
little
ran
girl.
into each other last year in
at
the
the
Christmas
thing.
line. We were buying Christmas trees. We went out and did the whole Christmas tree
Yeah.
cutting it down gimmick or whatever, man. Ran into each other and his wife, they had the baby at the time and everything. And I remember I was like looking at your wife. She's holding the baby. And I'm like, I know her from somewhere. Where do I know her? Where do I know her? And then like, I
see
look
Lester.
Yeah, and then Lester. And he's looking at me like, hey, I know you from somewhere. And we like had a green light at the same time. Oh shit! So we like sit there and bullshit in line. I know your wife was probably like, "What the fuck's going on?" And Anita was like, "Who the fuck are you talking to?" Me and Lester over there bullshitting sidebarring and shit.
You've
But
seen
yeah,
his good hair.
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
he
That was
seen-
back
he
before
seen
he
me
buzzed it,
walking.
and he's like going bald
he
now or
seen
whatever.
it
I
coming
don't
and
know.
shit. He seen it glow, and he was like, "Man, something just-"
How can I make my hair look like
That's
that?
guy I seen at LeBare's.
What kind of conditioner? What kind of conditioner does this guy use,
That's the
man?
guy that was throwing a shitload of money at LeBare's.
Yeah. He was shooting the money gun at me the other night. Yeah.
I swear I don't even work here.
Yeah. And then we were cutting down Christmas trees together for whatever reason.
Yeah, that was cool, man.
Yeah, it was a fun little deal, man. But so she's like a little over a year old now,
Yeah,
right?
she's a year, 3-4 months, man. So she keeps me busy. Messed up my sleep a lot, but it's okay.
They do that. Ask Raheel Ramzanali, our play-by-play guy, man. He's got a newborn right now.
Yeah, man, I'm messed
he's
up.
going
Sleep.
through that. Yeah,
Diego's got one on the way.
Yeah,
Asian, Northern?
Southside Vietnam. Or
Oh.
Poor Diego. Hey, listen, we're giving Diego a hard time. Y'all don't take none of this shit to
yeah,
heart.
we're just breaking our boys' balls,
Especially
man.
if you're his wife listening. We're just
Yeah.
messing with him.
His wife
Yeah.
does not listen to this. She would never listen to
We
this
love
shit.
Diego, man. We got to give him a hard time. Look at him. If we get
His
Diego
wife doesn't
laughing,
even know we do a podcast. He's just like, I've got to go do another bust, babe. I'll be back, this
Yeah.
afternoon.
Then he goes to the rub and tug. And he's like, the
Yeah.
podcast was 8 hours today.
Ah, the podcast went really long today.
Those guys won't stop talking. Damn it.
Oh, man. So when you think about MMA, where it was when we came up and where it is now, what do you think is the biggest difference?
Well, one, if we there's a lot of ways it's different. I think that the skill level in itself is better. Like
The level of
people
talent.
are doing cooler things now and just better overall at everything. Where like back then it really still was like this guy could throw a hard punch, but he was a good wrestler, or good jiu-jitsu guy couldn't fucking take a punch, whatever. Like nowadays, like we talked about, my son 5 years old, your son 5, your son is, how old is your son?
Man, he's 14.
I mean, but,
no, but
that's
back in the day, you're
young.
talking back in the day.
Yeah, that's young though. Even starting
Right.
right now at 14, right?
We were
Like,
in our 20s.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like the skills level is very different. I do think the McGregor effect has happened, like I said, but even with that being said, there's still those individuals that are super fucking tough, that are super talented. You know what I mean? Then let's talk about production. I mean, you guys, I think, well, me and Junior talk about it all the time. He's like, fuck, he's like, you fight for Fury and it feels like you're in a, like this is, you're doing something.
The real deal.
Yeah, like
you're not
this
a
is prep,
smoker.
like Fury is really prepping guys for the UFC or like other promotions, because I seen it. I mean, I fought. No offense to Mick. I mean, you see the productions he did, but like his second or third fight, and I fought outside of a bar and it started sprinkling.
Yeah,
Good
that
old
sucks.
days.
That
Hey,
sucks, right?
But that's the good old
Yeah,
days.
it's
you know?
not-
Now
sprinkling
over
in
the
the
years,
arena
as
theater.
Mick got on Access and stuff,
Yeah, no, I
it was a
mean, he
fucking
took
beautiful.
it-
The production was
he took
crazy.
it from a bar to
He set the
to
tone.
where it's at. So like that's beautiful.
Yeah,
You know,
he
as I
set the
said,
tone.
no, not like saying anything. We're just talking about
Where it was and where it is.
the history.
Yeah,
you
for
know what
sure.
I mean? And then like he's carried on with the production level. Like you actually can
2.0.
whether you YouTube or UFC Fight Pass, and like you look at it, and like there's commentating and there's good commentating. And I mean, let's
Yeah, you watch a lot of
know,
those older events, and it's like two dudes bullshitting about.
They didn't know shit.
There's
Yeah,
a fight
they don't know
happening,
what's
and they're
going
over
on.
bullshitting, trying to
This
get
guy-
themselves
this guy
over,
took
get their
that guy
shit in.
down, and then like that's it. Like nowadays they're like, this guy took that guy down with a Uchimata, and like this, like
You got
guys
the
know what
right
they're talking
terms and
about.
everything.
So like production level, skill level, it's gotten ridiculous. You know what I mean? And but with that being said, that's not every organization, because there's still a lot of organizations that have maybe the skill level, they have some pull, but they don't have the production level. So if your production level is not the same, and this skill level might fight for them once, but then they're going to say, let me go to this one, because, or like Fury, for example, because it's just a better fit to get. Like as a coach, I'm like, I want my guys to get the best experience they can get so that it can get them to that next level.
Obviously,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
The same like the promotion does too, right?
Right.
Best experience so that you can prep them so that when they get to that big show, they're not like, oh, fuck, I've been fighting at bars or like these rink-a-dink, like at a gym, you know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
And so they see like all this shit and they're like, oh, fuck. But like if you've been seeing that since your amateur days, the idea is that when they get to that, they're going to see that at a bigger state, but it's still,
They've already had the exposure,
They had
so
the exposure.
the nerve factor is kind of offset.
it should help.
Or it's
Yeah.
almost normal to
Almost
them
normal.
when they
Exactly.
get there.
Like the
Normal.
nerves won't be there. Like, oh shit, the lights are brighter. There's a bunch
Especially
of
when you
screens.
fight, like if you go into a UFC event and you're there for the first fight, man, there's not many people in the venue.
No, it's not.
Like-
not the first couple.
And then as it starts getting into the not the free prelims on Fight Pass, but the prelims on ESPN Plus, and then it goes to the main card on pay-per-view, then it's packed.
Yeah.
But like if you look at those prelims, that's almost, it could be compared to like what we're doing on the regional scene.
And very much, because I mean, when you're walking, once you're like out there, you're not seeing like way past like, oh, the top seats are empty.
Yeah.
You're just seeing like that immediate, like, oh fuck.
There's a lot of people down here on the floor.
Who cares about the cheap seats? They barely pay to get in anyway. Man. Fuck those guys.
And no offense to
No offense to them.
no offense to any other promotions that are doing stuff on the regional level, because I feel like we need organizations that can build guys. There's so many fighters nowadays. We need organizations that can build guys, even from the amateur level up, and then say, hey,
100%.
Can we put this guy on Fury? He's almost ready to make his pro debut. Can he get an amateur fight with y'all or 2 amateur fights and then pro debut with us? Dude, it's great to have another promotion that I can say, hey,
being able to work with somebody. Yeah.
It's like I think you're becoming like a big feeder to like the UFC, the big shows. But I mean, you also need feeders to Fury, you know. This is why I do like smokers. I'm going to be honest with you, because smokers are a good way for young guys to be like, you think you want it, let's do the smoker.
Right.
And then, because the smoker's a whole different thing. You show up to somebody's gym, you know, you got maybe like 2-3 people, you know, and a few other, and a few other people. It's still a fight going on, but it's nowhere near like, you don't see cameras, you don't see lights. It's not really like a walkout. It's just like, hey, so-and-so, so-and-so.
Oh, you want to fight? Oh, you want to fight?
Yeah.
Here's a fight.
But smokers are great because I've seen guys do smokers and then they never do enough. They take the whole fighting thought out of it and they just train jiu-jitsu.
I didn't like it.
And that's perfectly fine. They just train jiu-jitsu.
Of course. It's
better to find out in that smoker.
It's a good thing you found out here.
Yeah, then imagine if you're in a fucking Fury card, your mom, dad, you know, wife or whatever, your kids or whatever, your everybody's there, and then you show up and you're like,
you freeze deer in the headlights.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those, man.
Do that as smokers. So like I love smokers, and like that's what I'm doing now. Is like any young guy that wants to fight before I do like a show is gonna be like, you're gonna do a smoker. Some jiu-jitsu tournaments, and not even a jiu-jitsu tournament. You have to do a smoker or 2 just so I can see how you react.
I don't know.
You still want to fight.
I don't know if Reed with the Paradigm Combat Sports is doing any amateurs on his cards, but dude, he's got a solid event.
Yeah.
So like for him,
I knew it was Paradigm, but I didn't know it was.
It's called Paradigm Combat Sports.
Okay.
So he just did his second show. If he's doing amateurs, like that's going to probably
it's a good feeder.
That's probably going to be an event that I look at.
Yeah, that's
quite
good,
a bit. I had a good experience there. So I mean, I think I'll go there and be like, man, these are some fucking good guys, and I'll talk to Reed and say, hey, if you got some guys that want to come out,
send them this way.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, so like to recap, right? Like what has happened, man? Like it's completely changed. I mean, the level has changed all the way around. You know, coaching, knowledge of like being able to look at YouTube or just like there's UFC fighters walking around. So like I said that earlier, that when you're a guy fighting, you get to see how UFC fighters train. You're like, okay, I have to train like him.
Yeah, like the Andy Craigs and the Alex Moranos. Like not only are they fighting, but they're coaching now as well.
Yeah, coaching, you know. And so like that's the other thing. Yeah, you got experienced guys that made it to the big show. I didn't make it to the big show, but I've been around for a while, you know. But you get experience where guys are now talking about not like, hey man, like I seen this drill. It's like everything I say to do, I did it. And the thing about my guys, like they'll tell you, I train just like they're fighting.
Yep.
Like,
the thing about you, I mean, you may not have made it there, but you know what it takes to get there. You were like literally on the cusp. You know what it takes to get there. You know what it takes to have not made it also.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you've got that perspective to pass along to the younger generation.
That's important, man. I'm never shy about talking like truth to people, man. And so like I tell guys, I'm like, look, man, I know what it's like to not. I also know what it's like to lose a fight. My last fight was a loss. I didn't come back, but I've had multiple times where I lost fights, and I still would come back and fight again. You know what I mean? And that's important. The last one, I just started focusing on the different business venture, but it's important to know that, man. A lot of coaches, and no offense to them, maybe at their time it just wasn't something available, right? But like I fought, like you said, Andrew Craig, Daniel Pineda's coaching, like a lot of these guys, they've stepped in the cage, whether it was UFC, Fury, or Legacy, the real Legacy. You know what I mean?
Right, the Mick Legacy.
The Mick Legacy.
The Legacy.
The Legacy.
Legacy.
That they would step in. And so like that experience when they're like, hey, you need to do one more round. we're not guessing like, I think you should do one more round. No, motherfucker, like, you need to do one more round.
Right.
Because, like, I know you need to do that.
Yep.
It's an experience level. When you talk about, like, what it feels like, well, you've been there. You don't coach. But, I mean, like, when I tell the guys, the first round is not the fight. The fight starts after you go and sit down, and then you got to get your ass up, and you got to look at this motherfucker. He still wants to fight me.
And everybody's
The first
making adjustments.
the first round is like everybody's excited. You're like, I'm a fucking badass. I'm gonna step in. So that first round, you step in and you're like, blah, 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 blah. And then the bell rings. So you're kind of like, ooh, I survived that. Or I beat the shit out of him, whatever. And you sit down.
But it's
and
not
then
over.
You gotta stand up. Yes.
That's why you remember Saul used to
The
never
fight.
let his guys sit down in between rounds.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even bring a stool in. Shout out to Saul.
Shout out
He
to
would
Saul
not bring the
Talib,
stool in.
man.
His dudes would stand up.
Rest in peace.
And I tried that like on
It works for some guys.
2 of my fights. I didn't sit down and I would look across the cage and be like, this motherfucker's tired.
Yeah.
That's important, man. It's important to look
Bitch, you
across.
sitting down.
Bitch, get up.
But look, it's like I tell the guys, man, the first round ain't shit. That's just the both. We both believe in ourselves. We both have jitters. We get out there, that bell rings. And
Yeah, I would imagine a lot of guys think it's going to end in the first round. I'm going to go out and get a finish in the first round. I'm going to be
Very
partying
rare.
with the family and all that. But then the first round's over. And you got to like go
fuck.
back and you sit down or not.
Yeah.
And
Now
it's
you're
like,
doubting,
okay.
damn, do I really wanna do this?
There's a round
Hey, it
two.
happens, bro.
Oh,
Yeah,
a
for
round
sure.
three.
For
Oh,
sure, man.
that's why I think like a young guy, like I was Junior's first fight. Excuse me. It ended pretty fast. It ended, I think, like
He took the
a
dudes
minute
back
and
and
a half, 2
TKO'd him.
minutes.
Yeah.
Which was great. And I told you, I was like, man, I'm happy for you. I was like, but I was like, man, like I really can't wait till you go further. And then this next like 3-4 fights, I think we're all into the third round. And I was like, we want you finishing fights, but you know what? You going 3 rounds, this is perfect. This is what you need. This is what we want.
Time in the
Because we
cage.
want time in the cage and you having to get up. And I remember, I think it was the second fight. I forgot who it was. He was fired. Second or third fight, he went and it was after the second round, and he sat down and he was like, the first thing he tells us is like, I'm tired. And I was like,
Junior
Wake
fought.
up.
yeah, I was like, hey, I said, doesn't fucking matter. You got one more. Let's go. This is where it shows right here.
Yeah.
And it goes back to saying the real fight starts after that first round because then it's a mental fight. It's you fighting yourself.
Bang.
Yeah, you got to fight yourself. Like,
100%.
motherfucker, I'm tired. I still got to get out here. You know, so yeah, man, I'm a big believer. I mean, obviously, if somebody doesn't take you to the third round, then you're not going to get there. But
Yeah.
it's a good experience to have at first.
The idea isn't to make it to the third round if you can finish it quicker.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's where fights are made in those second and third rounds because you got to overcome that mental aspect of the fight game that a lot of people don't take into consideration.
mental. This is why
It's
we
not
start
all
focusing on-
skill. It's not all about skill. You got to have the mental game as well.
Yeah, I mean, like they say, right? Cardio makes cowards out of men or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because it happens. You get in that first fight, that first round. First round, sometimes you might be the tired. In my opinion, I think the first round is the tiredest round.
Yeah, because you're both throwing your wad.
You
Everybody's
throw
shooting
your
their wad in the first
so
round.
when you go and
That's what
sit
she
down
said.
and hey yo, and you got to get up again, as you're like, man, I just gave it all right there.
Yeah, I just threw everything I had at this guy,
we still
and he's
going.
still sitting there looking at me, ready to come back for the second
I
round.
seen some dude at the gym the other day, and he had on a shirt, and it said, "I don't do cardio. I lift weights, bitch."
It was
And in my
Diego.
mind, I
it
was
was
like-
Diego, wasn't it?
Was that you, Diego?
It was. It was
So-
a tank top. You
So
bastard.
we came up pretty much on the same scene. We've been to a lot of
Same fight,
Houston
same everything.
MMA fights
Yeah.
and everything. Is there one fight or one event that stands out in your mind, like a regional fight?
Like a fight that happened or like a certain show.
Yeah, just what's your most memorable, memory on a regional promotion from an event, whether it be a Fury, a Legacy,
As a spectator or as
yeah,
as a
as a
competitor?
either anything,
Whatever, man.
Yeah,
Whatever.
anything.
Which one stands out to your mind? Like, which one stands out? Like, if somebody said, "Hey, Lester,
Like for me, I'll tell you,
name
like,
a fight."
Mine, I have two actually. So making my debut on the same card as JDF and the Houston Arena Theater being fucking packed.
JDF.
That's
rest in
one.
peace.
And the second one is when Morano knocked out Baby Monster.
Oh,
When he was losing,
Yeah, yeah.
and then he fucking hit that dude and
did
lights
that
out.
Did that Morano overhand?
Yeah, those are two. So
That
both
was, that was-
legacy.
That was a great moment. one that stood out was a fight I fought on that card.
Not in the bathroom or outside.
Yeah, it has to have happened in the arena.
Oh, damn. Okay, let me think.
Not that guy.
No, so like one that was a big one. It was one of my teammates won. Me and my teammate were both both fought on the card. I fought first.
Who was it? Who was your teammate?
Jeff Rexroad.
Okay.
Yeah, Sexy Rex.
Rexroad, my boy.
Rex Angle.
Say the Rex Angle.
I love Jeff Rexroad.
Actually, it's when he hit the Rex Angle. This is my story. Yeah, so like I fought before, and
who did you fight on that card?
I want to say Jonathan Harris.
Okay.
TKO. Jonathan Harris, great guy. He's my buddy. I won that fight. But
I caught that. Hey, Jonathan, if you would have won, it'd have been fuck you, man.
So,
you know my
so
friend.
we had that fight, and then like I think Jeff was
The main
I don't know
event.
if he was the. I think probably he was the main event. So he's probably like, I was like 1 or 2 fights before him. Somehow I got the change, so it was probably like a fight in between. So I went and changed and like walked out with Rexroad. Me and Rexroad, like, well, I think like like we go back.
Isn't it the
time.
best feel? Like you're nervous as fuck. You're about to fight.
Yeah.
Then you go out there and get the win, and it's the best feeling when you finally get to go change and grab a beer and come out. You're like, all right, I'm done with my job.
It's
job
a
well
relief.
done, man.
It's
Yeah.
a relief.
It's a fucking
100%.
relief.
It's like,
You're
Man.
nervous as fuck.
And then you drink
before.
that first beer and you almost get fucked up with one beer. It's like, what
Because
the
your
hell?
adrenaline is so
Yeah.
high. Your
You drink
blood
one
is
beer
flowing
and you're
so
like,
much.
what
Yeah.
the fuck? Y'all
Yeah.
roofied me? God damn.
I got a
Feel
better
like you're
tolerance
Diego
than
getting
this.
a rubbing tug.
God, I was like, keep Diego away from me. And so then, like, I got to see Rexroad, and it was real memorable because in the experience, like, I got to fight that day. Great experience for me. And then I got to see my teammate, and it's always hard to see somebody. I mean, like, I talk a lot of shit to Jeff, but I care for him. You know, that's my
Right.
teammate.
100%.
That's my
Obviously, yeah,
boy. And so, like, it's always very nerve-wracking for me to see somebody, like, I care for a fight, you know, or no, because I don't have control.
100%, man.
Right? So, anyways, I don't know if you remember the Luca Pimente fight. It was
don't.
Luca Pimente.
Lucas.
Luca.
Well, he was supposed to fight Macaco, and then
was
something
supposed to fight
happened, and
Macaco.
Macaco pulled,
The-
and he put
The
his
last name was
student in.
Pimente, right?
Yeah, it was Lucas.
Luca Pimente.
Lucas.
So he fought Rexroad, and that guy was a savage, man. He was beating no offense, Rexroad, but he was beating the shit out of you. Like, he was beating the shit out of him. Elbows and, man, landing nasty elbows from, like, Rexroad's closed guard. And I was just like in his corner as a friend, I was like, fuck, dude, like, that shit looked painful.
Get the fuck out of
I
there.
was like, bro, I was starting to feel that, like,
He was bloody when
Damn.
he hit the Rex angle.
man, he was hurt.
He was busted.
He was hurt, and then he hit that Rex angle and like basically created his own submission, the Rex angle.
And it was the submission of the
And
year
took
on
it.
HDNet
Yeah,
Fights.
and it was like a big
I
deal.
watched
Crazy.
that on TV.
And it was like that's
Boss
one of,
Ruden.
that's a very memorable one for me, man.
Who was it? Gabby Echeverry that hit it on one of our cards?
It was Kyle from 4 Ounce. Kyle,
The brothers,
the brother. What was his last name?
Villarreal, I think.
Kyle Villarreal.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, man.
He hit the
on one of
Rex
those,
angle.
one of those early Fury cards. Nice catch, sir. Nice save. Diego, thanks for saving his equipment.
Yes. Shout out to our sponsor, Howlerhead. The bottle's gone.
We only brought one bottle today, and it is gone.
It's done.
That's a wrap. Before we get out of here, anybody you want to shout out?
Shit. I didn't have that one ready, but
That's a no.
But I'll give a shout out to, Fury, obviously. Appreciate you guys having me out here. And like the fights and everything, the scene has really grown. You guys and some of the work that Legacy had done before, and you guys picked up on that. Give a shout out to Wayne for having a beautiful beard. You know what I mean?
A style.
Diego for the production and just knowing what region of Asia it's from. You know what I mean?
How it tastes?
Howlerhead, for sponsoring this podcast. Batres Grand Venue, come holler at us if you have an event coming up.
What's that phone number if they want to reach out?
It's 832-256-7709. I don't even remember our company numbers. So
There's been a lot of howler. You just got Lester Batres' personal cell phone number.
Yeah.
ladies
Give
and
me a
gentlemen.
shout. Give me a shout.
Yeah, y'all
ladies
text
or
me.
gentlemen.
Dick pics.
Ladies or gentlemen.
Or gentlemen.
All right. We out of here, baby.
Hey,
You ready, man?
Lester, man, we've been talking about this for a long time. It's a pleasure to finally have
Yes.
you in studio,
Lot
man.
of fun.
We went longer, I think, than even Colin Cantrell
I
took
think
us,
this
man.
is our record. This
Yeah,
is
we
our
went
record.
longer than we ever have.
Longer than Drew?
Yeah, way
Longer than
longer,
anybody.
way longer than Drew.
And we know Drew can talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Drew got stories on him.
Yeah,
you know
Drew
what I mean?
does, man. Drew could talk for days, man. But you outlasted Drew, man. Thank you for joining us today. Hey, folks, the time for talk is over. This has been Fury Unleashed.